your Son. Thank you for this weekend to celebrate his resurrection. We ask you to be with us today, give us wisdom to discern your ways for this county. And Lord, we ask you for rain to restore the soil. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can you pass that to Dwayne real quick?
Bring this meeting to order.
He just didn't sign
Oh,
it.
you didn't sign there. Bother that. I didn't look on down here, or, Dr. Stevens, you, wanna go?
Yeah. Just
I don't mean literally go.
Like to leave?
then I'll leave.
Yeah.
Just briefly, wanted to update the County Commission April 13th school board meeting for USD 239. The first meeting last month, we basically went over the MOU, and I let them know the County Commission was in agreement on that, and the board wanted to have time just to look at it again, and then I think that we have it as an action item for the April 13th meeting. The only question I think that had kind of came up was regarding the addresses on those buildings. I know there was some conversation about, are they lumped together, or are they in 4 parcels? And so I'll work with the county clerk's office and county register of deeds to confirm that piece, just so they know on the MOU and we've got it. And then once the board acts on it, I'll just communicate with county commission and keep you updated as we move forward. The MOU that we have, once the board approves it, is important, just because then we can kind of work together and apply for grants this cycle for the Ottawa County Community Foundation. We weren't able to do that, but the board wanted to take its time, and I understand that as well, and told them that they need to take their time for that. So that being said, the school district is working on preparing for our schedule for next year, and we're hopeful that some of the once the MOU is kind of, if it is approved by the board, it allows us then to start kind of mobilizing what those internships and things look like. So it may very well be something that doesn't even start until the January term, depending on where that MOU falls. But I'll keep you informed, and in the interim, if you guys have any questions, I wanted to allow you to do that as well. So if not, then that's all I have.
Well, thanks.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Thanks for doing that and
Yeah.
discussing it. I just had an off-the-wall question.
Yeah.
It was about, are you planning to do an SRO this year, or the next school year?
Yeah, so it's my understanding that, and I don't believe Twin Valley has approved it for this year. I don't know if they've communicated with you guys or not, but our MOU is with them and with the county. So that was another conversation that we're going to have as a board. That's on our agenda April 13th to kind of discuss. What I would like to do is to see what kind of agreement could be had if Twin Valley is not in it. It's one of these where we got that grant. The first year we paid for it because we didn't have the grant yet. The second year we had the grant, which would have been last year. So without the grant, the state has cut many of those funds in addition to others. But they've put money towards AI gun detection, which at this point, I don't believe our board is interested, because many of those grants start and then they go away, and you have the residual costs as with anything. So at this point, I was going to have some conversation with the sheriff's office just to see what that might look like. It may be on a more limited scale, just because we don't have that partner. Having said that, we're also open to having conversations, with the city as well. So hopefully have more information on that. Just haven't had a chance to talk to Sheriff Thornton on it. So
I was just curious
Yeah.
where your school
Yeah.
district. So-
I will tell you, the partnership has been wonderful. There have been times where we've just needed, some additional support, and, Sheriff's Office has been great to work with. We worked together on a couple of grants, and, I've really enjoyed working with, Sheriff Thornton, so.
Yeah, I hope it works out.
He's gonna be, I don't know how soon you need to deal with him, he's gonna be gone
Okay,
for,
Late this month, in the early
yeah,
days.
like the
Is this
twenty-fifth,
the month that he?
25th of April
Okay.
through the first 2 weeks of May.
that's good to know. I'll reach out to him before then, and we'll at least have
Okay.
we have had some, previous conversations too, but, we just didn't know where Twin Valley was at. Has Twin Valley confirmed whether or not they are or out?
Not officially,
They haven't said anything.
Okay. And I don't know,
With the change of the superintendent, not the.
and
yeah,
I'll reach out to their superintendent too. I just didn't know if there'd been any decisions made. I just know that, along with all the agencies, right now with the cuts and stuff, that is, one of the items that definitely is not funded by state grant anymore, so.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
FYI, I've been using the address as 136 South Mill.
Okay.
Fairgrounds, when I've been submitting insurance applications. I don't know the physical address.
Mhm.
Well, I Googled it, and that's kind of what I come up with, was 136. I think that's close enough for insurance, but I don't know
Yeah,
if that's gonna be close enough for you when you start splitting out buildings and wanna know each
Right.
particular address.
yeah, and I think part of it will, whatever's officially approved by them, if there is any kind of change or something, I might have to bring that back to you guys just to have that, but, you meet at a greater frequency, and so that makes it a little bit easier, and not to be disrespectful to the board or anything, meeting once a month with me is probably more than they, they would even want to have, but by law they have to, so. But in any case, we'll get those addresses locked in, and I think that was the only, point that we wanted to make sure we had, so.
I'm curious
Okay.
to know the end result to that, but you
Yeah.
dig deeper than I did. I think I hit Google, and that looks about right, 136 South Mill, it's close
Yeah.
enough.
And we just went off of what the technical reports were from the engineer's office that did that inspection, so.
Yeah,
Okay.
The-
thank you for what you're doing.
Yeah, you bet.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Thank you, guys.
So the address to the blue store?
Oh, Curtis, I should say one
No,
other thing.
That is the.
I'm sorry you
I
left the
thought he was
table,
talking
but
about fairgrounds down.
I did reach out to Luke
Maybe I screwed it up.
Hostler,
Uh-huh.
Blue stores.
Yeah.
and he said I could
Okay.
come to his class, so
Three
I just wanted
buildings
to know
there,
everybody
Nice.
to
the
do that.
addresses.
I'm glad that worked out.
302,
Yeah.
303.
On the MOU, I had the addresses that were listed on that, and those were off of that report from, the.
Yeah. I think he was.
I was not even in the same ballgame,
Gotcha.
let alone the same book, let alone same paragraph.
Okay.
He was talking about the fairground.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I just,
So-
and I've used, when we looked at those addresses, I think the register of deeds might have something more
Yeah.
specific, but it would be probably important just for whatever the physical address is,
Right.
and with the insurance, with our insurance, when
Right.
we do that, so,
Yeah.
okay.
All right.
Sorry for the confusion.
No worries.
Welcome to my world.
Hey, that's all right.
Thank you.
Thank
Have a
you
good-
for all you
Have a
do.
good week. Okay, Philip.
I'm up.
Yep.
Make it short and sweet. I called Scott last week in regards to a issue that had arisen on a septic company from Salina that wanted to do inspections in Ottawa County. No other county do we have anybody that's asked for that permission. And I approached the board for the LAPG, which represents you now, and asked them what they thought we ought to do, and we're gonna make it mandatory as far as the LAPG is concerned, that anyone belongs to the coalition as far as North Central Kansas LAPG, all inspections must be done by the county sanitarian. Will not be accepted in any transactions, real estate, from either the buyer, the seller, the real estate agent, listing, or buyer representation. They have all kinds the way they do it in Salina. So I've had that call before. This company called me, wanted to do it. I said, I don't think we're gonna allow that. And they said, why? I said, because it's a biased opinion. I said, you can go in and recommend that the system be replaced, and it doesn't need to be. I said,
Or it needs to be replaced
and they say it doesn't.
Yeah.
So there is a slant there that we need to be careful that we don't allow that to happen. I'm representing you to protect your part. We don't have a liability from day one. If I'm there today and the system is working, we consider it functioning. If somebody the next day plugs it full of toilet paper or full of paper towels and causes it to fail, that's an issue that happened after the fact. Okay, so I record that, take pictures, and keep that on file, all the inspections that I
Okay.
do. That way it protects us. So if you would recommend that we continue to do that in Ottawa County, I'll also accept that, and I'll take that back to the LAPG, and we'll put that in our minutes and also report it as such.
So you use services within what, 7 counties or area?
8, I have 8 counties, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I did read the minutes and I noticed that you stepped up to serve on the board, Scott. Did you
Yeah.
mention
He did,
that?
and I really appreciate that. That's,
Good job.
it's a drive, but it's good that you represent your county. I wish everybody would send someone to the meetings, that way they're at least, most of the people said, you take care of it, it's done, you know.
I
and
wasn't going to, but Tammy poked me in the ribs and hurt so bad, I said yes.
Well, you said you would, but you didn't say you accepted to be a member of the board, so good
Yeah.
job. And I did
So-
notice that, I'm sorry,
Go ahead.
I did notice that, we had utilized the service almost more than any other county, so
We did.
I guess that's a good thing for us.
Yeah,
Since
it's
the
great to
new
have it.
billing has
Yeah.
saved us money, you know, so it's been really cost beneficial for the county overall. I did, is this what was attached to here related to Phil?
Yeah, I didn't get it.
In the agenda,
All I got, I could never find the agenda on there, and I just picked one up there, so I didn't get the,
so
so you're talking about the,
Those are just the zoning regulations. I don't know.
sanitary code,
Sanitary code, yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
were you wanting to change it?
No, I just,
Oh,
I didn't
okay.
know what it was, so
Oh,
I
there's
just
somebody,
looked the sanitary codes about.
let's back up here and take care of what he wants us to do first.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So you just need a motion to,
I just need your approval as a board to represent you in that manner.
right,
And so basically, all you have to agree on is that we're gonna go ahead and take care of the matter, so.
right.
And the LAPG will represent and be the only one will be allowed to do inspections in
Right.
Ottawa County.
And that's the way it should be, I think, because like you say, if you get somebody coming in here and you don't know what's going on, somebody don't know what's going on. And
No.
so I think that's what we should do. That's my opinion. What do you think, Carla?
Oh, I think it makes sense. You want me to make a motion?
Yeah.
That, we only use sanitation all sanitation inspections should be by the North Central Kansas Local Environmental Planning Group.
Or your county sanitarian,
Or
or by the
our-
counties, or by Ottawa County sanitarian.
Or our sanitarian.
Tie that all up.
Okay. Or our sanitarian, or our county sanitarian, that's what you want. Okay, that's my motion.
I will second that.
Moved
You
and-
got that, Tammy?
Moved and seconded to, just use our county sanitarian for inspections. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Okay,
So
the other
sanitarian-
thing,
Sanitarian will be the final authority, right, or the LPG.
Yeah.
so I never did get a copy of that contract for that deal.
I'll give it to you. I'm preparing it all, don't worry, I'll bring you a full report of what exactly happened. So
Okay, well,
I have pictures and.
I was, under the assumption that there were people gonna be here throwing a fit. And,
No, sure.
So, I guess, could you explain to the other two commissioners what their gripe was?
Well,
So,
I'll,
if they haven't brought up to them,
yeah, what the deal was is, a person from the county contacted me in regards that they said they did some sanitary work on a farm southwest of town here, and I had went out there, met with the homeowner first, met with the contractor second, went back and took inspection pictures of while it was being installed, while it was being done, and when it was completed. That's part of what I do. They said they didn't have a permit. There's only one person that would know whether they had a permit, and that's me, because nobody else files anything else other than myself. So the person that questioned it said we were out of compliance. So I went back and pulled all the LAPG rules, and I called the Kansas Department of Health and Environment, talked to them, and we are 100% in compliance with all the rules and regulations with the state and also with your county. The person that questioned it said there was a couple complaining. I told that person to have them call me, and no one ever called me. So they said we were too close to the property line, there wasn't enough acres involved. I don't know where they got their information, but no one contacted me in regards to it, so I just said, unless someone contacts me, I ain't doing anything, because I said, I don't answer to them people, first off. Second off, it's not their job to go around and enforce our rules and regulations. So if somebody wants to step up and say, I said that or I did that, be a different deal, but nobody come forward. So I think it was just somebody trying to be a real pain, and so I disregarded what, it's just somebody just stirring.
Mad, neighbors are mad.
Yeah, it's
Would you-
just,
Did you have a question about it, Dwayne?
No, I went out and took a look at the property, and it didn't look very big, and looks neat and nice, and I didn't know what our options were going forward if there was a complaint.
well, the problem of it is, and this,
Cross that bridge.
we've addressed this before, the problem of it is when you buy limited acreage, and then you go out to and you start to develop those, you run out of dirt after a while, I told you before. So if the system fails, then you gotta remember where you're gonna go next. So, and I brought that up to the homeowner, and I brought that up to the landowner also, I said, that's not my problem, but I said, it will be your problem if it fails and you don't take care of it. So then if he comes for a second permit to do a second one, if the first one fails, he's gotta come up with the answer, I don't. I mean, they have to provide proper acreage in order to put a septic system in, so.
So this was someone in your district,
Yeah.
Dwayne?
Yeah.
And so, so let me try to get this straight. Our regulations say you have to issue a permit?
Yes,
He has to.
That's what I meant.
yeah, I do.
You, as our sanitarian, and you did not issue that permit?
I did,
Okay.
okay? He didn't return the proper paperwork to me, but the contractor that did the job contacted me. So I went and met with him after I went and met with the homeowner first. So I met with the homeowner, gave him permits, says he could fill out and return to me. He didn't do so. When the contractor called to go do the work, he wanted to know if there was a permit. I said, yeah. I gave him a permit, but he hasn't returned it. He said, not a problem. And I have this happen in all my 8 counties. Most of the time, homeowners get a little lost in the paperwork, so to speak. There is some information that is not on that permit. In other words, when you come to me for a permit, I grant the permit, we go out and talk, discuss where we're gonna put it, and plan it, okay? When the contractor or the plumber shows up and does it, that's when we get together and decide what's gonna work best for the homeowner and for the property. The contractor contacted me the morning he was headed out there. I had been there, I knew everything about it. I says, you want me to come down? He says, no. And I said, fine, go ahead and take care of it. I've worked with this contractor multiple times. He does a world good job. He does a really good job. So I wasn't worried. There's a few people I follow real close, and some of the guys you can trust. So
So what ultimately happens to the permit? Is it kept by the homeowner or you file it?
like, we keep a copy of it and we send it to the homeowner if they want one. Most of the time, if I send it to the homeowner, they go, what am I supposed to do with it? So they don't understand it. I have a map that I draw. I use Google Earth to record it. So when you get the permit, it'll be all filled out at the bottom. When I first apply for the permit, the top half is just general information. Homeowner, landscape, address, planning, where it's gonna go, what the plan is. Then we do a preliminary drawing or planning to where we're gonna place it at that time. And if you drove by it, you notice it's in the front yard because there was water lines, power lines, and everything else through the middle of the yard. So we come up with the options best. And there's a lot of them in people's front yards, they don't know it. I mean, it's just simply waters your yard as far as I'm concerned, the fertilize your yard. So anyway, it's there, it's perfect condition, it'll last a long time if you take care of it.
So if you, is it required by KDHE for you to have this permit on file to show you looked at it?
Yes, that's
I
what
see.
that's what we
So you're
keep.
fighting to get it back?
No, I have
Oh,
it.
you have it at
I
this
got it
point?
from the contractor.
Okay, you have it at
The
this point.
contractor filled it out, finished it, gave me the footage, and I have the pictures, and I can show them to you on my phone, there's
So
9
it's
pic-
been resolved, basically.
Well, if you could send that to me, just so if anybody ever says to me,
I'll give you a whole deal when I
Okay.
get it all put together, so.
all right, that'll work.
Anyway,
The last, I guess I was looking at this since it was in the agenda packet, and I thought we were trying to prepare a new sanitary code, but that was
No,
never.
we are
part of the
not,
plan.
the state is, they're working on updating some of their standards. The last standard that was approved was in 1997, so it's that old. But the state has never appropriated the money to go ahead and get it done. It's in the works right now, but they turned it down to start with because there were some people in the eastern part of the state that didn't like some of the rules and regulations that they were gonna apply because it affects them. And what it comes down to is lot size. And that's why I went back to the 3-acre rule. You go east of Manhattan over to Amigo, or between there and Topeka, you'll notice them houses just stacked on top of each other. Well, in the land value the cost of property today to build a home, you run out of dirt to put them sanitary systems in. Well, if you go down to Wabunsee County or Ottawa County, it's rock. So it gets to be an issue real fast. And you have the same problem here in certain parts of your county. You go south of town and you know where the rock's at. So it comes up. And so they're the ones that are raising hell because they said, we sell properties, we want as many properties as we can. Well, that's their profit. So if you can sell 2 acre lots or 1.5 acre lots, you see what happens. That's what they're after. And so
This seemed like a long-term process, so I was trying to figure out if
that's what they're battling with
change
right
the
now. The
sanitary
state is,
code.
they're saying it's gonna do it.
Contact your state representative.
I did, because this was in the packet, and of course, we can't talk about it till we get here. I was looking at our agreement with you guys.
Yes.
With, I should say, with the North Central Kansas
LAP.
LEPC group. And, just to clarify, the code that you work for Ottawa County is our code.
It is.
It's
You
not a
have,
generic code, it's our code?
you have certain parts of it that apply, okay? And in Truett's comment he made one time, in Ottawa County, you have several villages. We call them villages. They're unincorporated towns. Ada, let's use Ada and Culver, for example. They're not an incorporated town. They may have rural water or rural water district, but they don't have any sanitary and they have no maintenance in their town other than what the county does. I think you guys probably maintain most of those small towns anyway, as far as roads and stuff. But what he said was, there are some stipulations, like the lake example, there was, back in the 60s is when they did that they could have lots. The problem we're running into is people out the lake, they wanna live there year round. And when they first designed that was for weekend warriors, okay? And you can get by on a real small system for weekend warriors, but when you move in full-time and live there 365 days a year, washing machine, dishwasher, all the amenities that come with a home, there's a lot more water use. So they have a problem out there. People don't wanna live out there full-time, and it will become an issue later on too. Because as the system gets older and they fail, they don't have any place to go. And so that kinda creates a problem with what the value of the property is, so.
Well, I pulled, our file from when we first approved
Yes.
switching to you guys, and, in the agreement we signed, it said, a code, but it didn't say our code, and I just wanted to make sure you're working in Ottawa County, you're working in compliance to our sanitary code
Yes.
versus a generic code.
Well, you actually followed 100% of Saline counties before. It may be your code, but you were following their codes 100%. There was no, another subsidy to that.
Well, I thought that the one that's in our packet is our sanitary code that they approved in 2001.
I've never seen it, I've asked for it.
Oh, really? Well, I can get you a copy of it.
I'd be glad to have it.
Just so,
I can send it to you if you'd like.
Send
Okay.
it to me. You got my email address?
I think so.
If you don't, I'll give it to you.
yeah, I just thought, since this is the one KDHE approved for Ottawa County, just to make sure that you're in compliance with the code, because we haven't signed a new one in 25 years, so.
You applied to KDHE in regards to what you want specific in your county,
Right.
but you still follow 100% of KDHE's. Okay,
Right.
so really they're the mother of the
So
whole.
you're just saying you're following KDHE, and
I
this would
follow.
have to be in compliant with KDHE?
Correct.
So you feel like it covers it
That
totally?
covers it all. yeah.
Okay, but you should have a copy of ours, just in case there's.
I'll
any
take a copy
discrepancy.
of it. If she can get me one, if she'll send me one, and I'll keep it on file, like I said, so.
KDHE is the governing authority on all of this, so they're the ultimate authority we've gotta comply with.
We have to
Correct.
follow the state regulations first, so that's how that works.
There must be some flexibility, though, if each county has to approve their own.
We can create variances on certain properties, so that's what we try to accommodate everybody if we can. And sometimes it can be a problem, but we have so far been successful in getting it done, so.
I was trying to guess why it was in the agenda, trying to read into, okay,
The reason it was on the agenda is when I asked what this was about, he said sanitary code, so that's.
You went with it?
I just went,
good
I
job.
tried to give you
It
as much
made,
information I could give you.
it made me read our
Mhm.
sanitary
Yeah, that's
code,
right.
so thank you, Tammy.
Anything else? Thank you for your time.
Yep.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
you giving me the time. All right. If you have any questions, call me.
Thank Thank you for servicing our county.
Yes. Just in case we're
Yeah.
Thank you, Scott, for stepping up.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
And thank you. How did we come about this to, because we actually saved like $10,000 a year. How did you guys come
More
up
than
with
that.
it?
Well, then, yeah.
Well,
They were gonna charge us 50.
oh, they were
Saline
gonna
County was
increase
gonna
it.
increase it to like
Thank
53,000. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Philip.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Increase it to like 53,000. And we decided that, I mean, that was a big jump. And then she come back after we said we're not gonna do it and said, well, that's not what I said. Well, I got a piece of paper somewhere in my desk here that says that, so.
Well, I
That's why
noticed
we
it was
trade.
like 12,000 prior to when we
Right.
made the switch last year. And I remember when we were doing it, you said, you know, this had kind of been vetted and,
I know Sarah doesn't agree with me on it, but that's how it went.
yeah. Well, it looks like,
I
it
don't know
looks,
what's her name. I mean,
Oh, and,
the gal that said she wanted to, Saline County was gonna raise our rates to 53,000. I can guarantee it. I've got it in here. If I have to look very far, I will. And then she said, oh, I didn't say that. Well, it's in writing.
well, either way.
And I
even
had
if
two
they-
women on each side of me that agreed. So when you got two women, Dawn and Dee Dee agreed that that's the way it was, and that's the way it was. By God.
So it was it was unanimous, you all three
Yeah.
agreed? Well, so just from the whole perspective of even before that proposed increase, it was $12,000 and now it's like 1,500, that's huge. But so, again, I guess I'm trying to, from a budgeting standpoint, I'm trying to figure out, how did you come up with this alternative and,
Well,
it was prompted by their huge increase, I guess that's what it was.
Well, yeah, I was on the board then at North Central Kansas Planning Commission then, and so that's how
You heard about
yeah.
another alternative? Okay,
The difference is when we were Saline County, the county paid for the services.
Yeah, we
And
paid.
this type of service charges
The landowner.
The landowner, the citizens that's asking for it. So
We,
that's
yeah,
why
we
this
were
is
paying
so
for all that.
yeah.
Every time somebody got everything, we were
Yeah,
paying.
well, I noticed that we used 100% of the water testing services there. You know, they attached this to, did they give you this at your meeting?
I think I got it.
But, from the, what, you said the 8-county area, all the water tests were from Ottawa County and 82% of the site evaluations, so our county residents are definitely utilizing the service.
Yeah, I'll find it here.
We were a high utilizer with Saline County.
Oh,
as
we
well.
were too?
Mhm, yeah.
Oh my gosh. God help me, please.
Why is it always that way with you, Commissioner?
Come on in and sit down, please.
Always.
You're not next, but
Oh, I thought I was next.
I would like you to sit down.
Okay.
Well, you may be next
Do I make you nervous when I stand up?
because Tony's not here. Is he coming?
I haven't heard a word from him, and to be honest with you, he's kind of wanting to call the meeting, so.
He is? Okay, well, we'll move to Michelle then. I'm sorry, did I?
last time I
did you
talked to
done-
him, I thought he was gonna be here.
you
Well,
done
he-
talking? I'm sorry.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
He intended to be here last time, he was.
Okay.
This is one of my dear
Favorite
friends,
meetings of the year.
dear friends from 150 years ago.
Scott, I don't know if you'd say,
Such old people don't.
Yeah, we did.
I don't know if I'd say
Did
that.
you have misfortune to grow up in Delphus with him?
No.
How do you go back
I have not
150 years?
We're not going down that road, Dwayne, but it happened. It was about something about similar.
I cannot
It's true.
unask that question.
I
I'm
lived a
sorry.
good portion of my life near Gypsum, Kansas, so, you know,
Okay.
I can't point fingers, so. Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
I am here to give you my semi-annual report on things that are happening at Community Corrections. So this report kind of encompasses October of last year until March, the end of March of this year. We have initiated what we call the Community Corrections Care Closet. We have people who are released from jail sometimes that perhaps went into jail during a different season in the year, so they don't have any clothes, or they don't have appropriate clothes when they come to us. They might not have a coat, or they might have a coat and if it's summertime not have the clothes that they need. So we have, our staff has donated some clothes for people to have if they need it, or sometimes people, my officers will use that as an incentive for clients to let them go in and pick out some new clothing. Some of us have clothes that we've never worn before, me for example, so I sometimes bring clothes that are brand new.
Where do you
So-
store them at?
We have an area where we store our UAs. We buy UAs by the big, huge boxfuls,
UA.
thousands. Oh, so UA cups. So
Oh.
we do UA. We collect UAs at our office, and we have a lot of cups. So we have boxes to the ceiling, thousands of them that we go through a year. So we have a little room where we store them. In the past, we have had a problem with bed bugs. So we're very limited on on where we get our donations. We either get them new at Walmart or just from our staff. Just
So
because
you don't want me
we've had-
bringing anything? I'll bring you bed bugs.
You know, we don't have a huge room
Okay,
for
all right.
storage,
I
but
was just curious about that.
I appreciate, yes, and we have had other people ask as well, and we're kind of trying to
Right.
limit it just
Yeah,
because
it could turn into
it gets out of hand, and I don't want my staff to have to then take
get
things
bed
to.
bugs. We don't want
Well,
them to get
or
it.
to take them to Goodwill, and
Right.
it's just a lot. And so we also have things like hygiene products, nail polish, perfume, that kind of stuff that some of the female offenders that we supervise, we use that as an incentive. So if KDOC has been big on incentivizing positive behavior. So for positive behavior, we might let them choose something from the care closet. We recently, in the last 6 months, have gone through some training in secondary trauma. I don't know if you're familiar with what that is. Secondary trauma is like after working for this is my best way to explain that. After working in probation for 30 years, I have become kind of a flatliner. Like, to me, if you tell me that you started using drugs when this happened to you and that happened to you, I've heard it so many times that it just becomes like not a big deal to me. Which
I'm not laughing at you. I
yeah.
just know you very well, and I
Yeah.
know that you just said the truth about
Yeah,
being a flatliner.
and I just kind of look now at life like, well, if nobody died, it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
There are things that are a big deal, but to me, it's like that's the litmus test. Did anybody die? No, then we're all going to be okay. Let's move forward. So they call that secondary trauma. So we did a training with Dr. Brianna Goff. She is in private practice as a therapist, but she's also on faculty at Kansas State in Manhattan. And one of my peers, who was the director of the 8th Judicial District, she uses Brianna Goff for Dr. Goff for the same purpose. So we have set up a time for each of our staff each quarter to meet with her for an hour. They do it by Zoom. It's done remotely because she, of course, lives in a different town than we do. So they meet with her remotely. And we have several rooms in our building that you can go into and do like a private meeting that are soundproof and don't have cameras and that kind of stuff. So it gives them an hour to just discuss things that have happened to them at work or just things in general, you know. My line of demarcation was probably 15 or 20 years ago now, when we had a guy that brought a knife into the office. It's the whole reason that we started having metal detectors. He brought a knife into the office and he was going to kill himself in front of another officer and it was the craziest day of my career. But that kind of changed. It was kind of life altering for me. After that, everything was just like, oh well, you know, it's not that big a deal. I thought they were going to kill him.
I think you've seen everything.
I did, yeah. The police came and I looked up and through the window came a long butt of a gun and everything slows down into slow motion and I looked up and I thought, oh my God, they're going to kill this guy right in front of us. And that kind of changes your life when you go through stuff like that. So my officers have experienced similar things. So it gives everybody a time to, I don't know, deal with that kind of stuff.
But he didn't.
He
No.
did not. No.
Okay.
At first, he had the knife to his throat, and yeah, we called 911. It was a weird day. Very strange. Yeah.
Well, let's hope that doesn't happen again.
I hope not. But now we have metal detectors. We have a whole different system. We don't let people come into our personal space. We used to meet with offenders in our own personal space, so we don't do that anymore. We stopped doing that the next day. So We are also starting some quality assurance efforts in our office. My juvenile staff, the KDOC pays for the juvenile staff to have a company called CSI come in and do, I think it's called CSI. I've actually forgot the name of it off the top of my head, but Community Solutions, that is it, Community Solutions Incorporated. They come in and do quality assurance. We are required by the state to do a lot of assessments and that kind of stuff, so they want you to keep fidelity and have quality assurance done. So I have paid for them to also do it on the adult side. So they're being audited quarterly with their files and what they do with their case plans and how they give out those assessments and perform those assessments. So we're getting started with that. We started in January, and I think it's going really well. My staff seems to be, they're doing well. I have a lot of seasoned staff, and then I have a lot of new staff that have just gone through the training, so it kind of works out pretty easy for us. My agency's become involved with the local crossover youth practice model with other stakeholders. The youth practice model is, in short, kind of a way for everyone who deals with juvenile offenders to come to the same table and set up a communication system so that when you have DCF involved and the schools involved and community corrections involved and law enforcement involved, everybody's on the same page. We have had I am seeing an upward trend in a lot of violent offenses by juveniles. We have a lot of kids from Saline County that are currently in the detention center, and it is not for petty crimes at all.
Seems to be getting younger.
It
all
does.
the time.
We have a lot of rape, sex offense. Last week we had a girl who threatened or tried to stab someone in the neck with a screwdriver. I mean, just a lot of stuff. And so they've really started concentrating on getting this youth crossover model together so that everybody can be on the same page. Our current population, we have 396 clients on adult intensive supervision. 3 of those are Ottawa County cases. 79 of those are part of our Saline County Drug Court program. We have 97 clients that are being monitored through our pretrial services, and 3 of those are here in Ottawa County, or they were 3. That could have changed. That was just a March number. So I have 2 officers now that come up here, and I think that pretrial thing is kind of getting off the ground, which is good. I think
What
it'll
day
be
do they
helpful.
come again?
They come on Tuesday mornings.
Okay.
So they're here. They usually get back to our office around noon, so I think they get up here around 8:30, something like that.
So the pretrial is making a difference, you feel?
You know, I think it's a good program. I like it because, every offense in the state of Kansas, you can bond out. I mean, there's a bond set for every, other than, I don't know if they have a bond for capital offenses, but other than that, there's a bond. So I think that for people who don't have the means to pay a bond, it's a good alternative for them. If you can bond out, you're out on your own. But if you can't bond out, you don't have the funds, it is a good way for people to have that same opportunity, even if they don't have the funds to do it. So it kind of evens the playing field, and it gives them a little of supervision and accountability. And just, we do reminders, like you have court this day, don't miss your court appearance. And I think that's very helpful because a lot of people get rearrested for missing their court appearance because they just don't maybe have the wherewithal to keep it together and
You
keep
see
the
most
schedule
of,
together.
there's a very big percentage that happens to.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah, so
blows
I
my
feel like-
mind.
I feel like, to us, if somebody told you to be in court,
Yeah.
you would do it even if you had to crawl there. When you are generationally involved in the criminal justice system, again, it becomes common to you. I don't like it when I don't like it when offenders bring their children to our office for their appointments because I've always felt like you're setting the stage for this is normal. This is not normal for a 3-year-old, a 4-year-old. I get it if you have a baby, but you got to find somebody to watch those kids. Don't bring them here and introduce them to the juvenile system. Speaking of which, we have 88 clients in our juvenile services division, and 2 of those are here in Ottawa County. So while Ottawa County has not had a huge spike in juvenile clients, it seems like we have in Saline County.
These 88 juveniles are not necessarily detained in the Junction City.
No, not
center.
at all. No, I think right now we might have 6 over there, though. I did get a email from the county administrator, because, it costs us money, so he was like, get them out. I'm like, I
Snap your
can't.
fingers, huh?
I can't, sir.
right.
So, in our juvenile intake and assessment, we've responded to 178 incidents, and again, 3 must be the number here. 3 of those incidents occurred here, which I looked and I think it was down a little bit, so everybody must have been inside for the winter, so summer's coming. I'm sure that people will be out and about. We, like I said, have continued our collaboration with Community Solutions for quality assurance. We plan to continue with Dr. Goff through this year. I don't know that we'll have the funds to continue that any further. Our pretrial services, as you know, have resumed here. I have been appointed to the North Central Kansas Regional Juvenile Detention Center Board. Annie Grievous, who is a commissioner in Saline County, was a board member, and she wanted to step down, so the commissioners have appointed me, which has been a learning thing for me. I've learned a lot since I've become director, especially about the juvenile side. I was kind of on the periphery of that when I worked on before I became director. Actually, I was a juvenile officer when I first came there, and so now I'm being reintroduced 25 years later to the juvenile side, and it's changed a lot. But so I've been on the juvenile detention board. We had a meeting here last week, toured your jail, looked at that as a potential place for juveniles.
Please.
So I think it would be good, but I don't know how the sheriff, I know that he's got, DCF is great, they're weird. They require a lot, so
Well,
probably have to have some upgrades. I
don't be
know.
afraid to contact
The sheriff?
one of the 3 of us
Oh.
if the sheriff's not interested.
Right.
Oh, well, he's on my board too, so I try to keep,
know he is.
I try to work well with law enforcement, so,
Personally, I like that idea.
yeah, I think it would be good, but I've never worked in a jail and I've never run the jail, so I don't know.
We're catching quite a bit of
what's
backlash about it not being open
Yeah.
to something.
Yeah.
And,
It is I think it could be a possibility, and the longer it sits, it's going
Yeah.
to deteriorate, so
but we've kept spending
Yeah, he's been
money
good about
along.
that
Yes,
upkeep.
he has,
Wow.
yeah,
Well, we have that debt, that improvement debt that we
Yeah.
have to keep paying, but I think it pays off in 33, which isn't that far off. But, I am determined that if we're gonna open it, we wanna at least break even, that's our
Oh,
goal.
no, I know that. It's
Oh,
not,
yeah.
We don't wanna
Yeah.
open it
No.
and lose
Yeah.
money, cause
Yeah.
then you defeat the
Yeah.
purpose of
But with
opening.
yeah, and I think the juvenile,
Come on
it
in
would
and sit
be
down,
it'd
ladies.
good, because I think they would supply, the detention center would supply people
Sure.
to work there, so
Sure.
that,
Yeah, so
or at least to
Yeah.
get them
Yeah,
trained.
so if Sheriff brought something to us, I would probably make sure it was like a break.
well, sure.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
why would you do that?
Because I always do.
Numbers.
Sorry.
Yeah.
No.
And that's
I
the,
know, that's very important. I mean, we can't just open it to open it.
Yeah.
Just to so it
Yeah.
looks good that we're
Right.
utilizing it.
Yeah.
I mean, it is tragic that we're not, although we
Right.
should say, since we're on video, that they do use it overnight, so it's not,
they do.
Right.
Mhm.
It is open,
it's
it's not closed,
utilized
but yeah.
Yeah.
at least overnight as
Sure.
needed, so.
Sure.
And I think we have an average of 3 or 4 prisoners that we've shipped out to Mitchell County
Yeah.
for, I mean, only like 3 or 4
Yeah,
that have stayed there a long time.
yeah,
The North Central Regional Planning Committee is forming a committee or having a meeting just to brainstorm what to do, because every county practically in North Central Kansas we've got a jail, we don't know what to do with it, we're not keeping a prisoner count up, or we don't
Yeah.
have a jail, we need
Yeah.
a jail. There's different scenarios, and I think they need to mesh together,
Yeah.
to form
yeah.
Right.
what we can, make
It is,
everybody-
and it's difficult because you can't just plan for today, you have to look
Right.
to the future,
Yeah.
you know? In Saline
That's
County,
not
when
for
you build a
juveniles,
jail,
though,
you,
but,
Yeah.
you just have to look at, things can change overnight, you know,
Yeah.
your population might be down, and then you trend upwards, and that's not easy to catch up.
Yeah.
It's, I
Right.
don't envy you trying to figure out what to do with that, that's tricky. I had 3 staff members that attended the Missouri Association of Treatment Court Professionals. They just went they were gone last week or 2 weeks ago to that. They learned a lot. We have a conference that we have here in Salina, which is the next item that I put there. Our conference is September 22nd and 23rd, so my staff sometimes go to that Missouri conference to try to find speakers to bring to our conference. So learn things about treatment courts and drug courts, but also to kind of get a preview for who they can have come to ours here in Salina. It will be September 22nd and 23rd at Webster Conference Center, and you are more than welcome to stop by and observe. If you're in Salina for some reason, please stop. We love to have visitors come to that. We have people that come from all over the state, from community corrections, court services, the courts, judges, a variety of different people that come. So I feel like this is our 5th year, and I feel like it keeps getting better, and I feel like we do a good job. We have a lot of good comments, so I have staff that work really hard at getting that done.
So you're training everyone in Kansas through that
We have,
conference?
it's a conference that we have that is a good place for us to bring in people who specifically speak to specialty courts like drug court, mental health court. There's different specialty courts. We, at our conference, also have a track for people who supervise or work with juvenile offenders and people who work in the pretrial services. Pretrial is kind of a new thing in the state of Kansas. There's not a lot of agencies that have that. So it's hard to, they have a national conference, but it's hard to find good trainings for people to go to. So we try to bring in some people that can speak to that, or at least have a time for people to get together and brainstorm ideas as that continues to develop in the state of Kansas.
Good.
So, Department of Corrections has entered into a 2-year agreement with the Council of State Governments. This is something that was born out of, if you remember, they were going to enact a funding formula, and they were going to cut our funding significantly. So they put a hold on that, and I think the great thing is that they're moving towards transparency. That's something that we haven't had and we've asked for a long time. This is a very expensive endeavor. I think they're spending $750,000, and I have been told that $750,000 in the state budget isn't a big deal. So I guess what seems like a lot to me maybe
A lot
isn't.
to you, though.
It's a lot to me.
So they're analyzing funding.
They
That
are. They're
meeting
doing-
is gonna
yep.
analyze funding.
They are. They're going to analyze the funding formula and the different pieces that come into that.
And you try to figure out if it's successful?
They try to figure out, yeah. Yeah. And I'm fully prepared to take a funding cut because our average daily population is down, way down. So I'm prepared for a funding cut, and I can absorb some of that in attrition and different things like that. But you know, they were going to decimate our budget initially, so I'm hoping that doesn't happen. But if it does, we'll survive.
Certainly not. I just
We'll
think
figure
I
something
think
out.
your services
I think that we
needed.
offer, yeah.
Needed.
I think
very-
so. Yeah, I think I know that things always work out. It's not going to be everything happens for a reason, so it'll be fine. I'm not worried about
You
it.
have changed.
I spent a lot of time worrying about this issue, and then I decided I couldn't control it
Back
because
in
I
the
have
day,
no
I'm
control.
not sure
into-
you would have acted that way. It'll work out.
Well, I might have had a little bit, I don't know,
Yeah.
a little smaller,
Square, yeah.
smaller square feet to navigate. So we have mailed in our comprehensive plan. Usually those aren't due until May. They were due this year in March, so we've got that sent. And our comprehensive plan is just us telling KDOC what we're going to do with the money that they've allocated to us. So there's certain things that we have to meet for them, and it's something that we do every year. They used to call it back in the day grant writing, but it has really become a large form that we fill out and just tell them what we're going to do with the money. We send it to them, they review it. I haven't gotten any feedback, so I'm assuming so far they're okay with it. But if not, then we'll make the adjustments that we need to make.
Can you enlighten me what funding we provide for you?
Yes, so our KDOC funds come to us from the state, but that is also your pot of money that is provided by
Through
you in a
KDOC.
way,
So we
through
do
the
not-
state general budget, then it filters to KDOC, then KDOC gives it to us.
Okay,
But you also pay us
for pretrial
for
service.
pretrial services,
Pretrial was the
yes.
only thing that I was familiar with.
Yep.
I just didn't,
That's it,
so the
But the
rest of that
KDOC
funding is fed through
through the
the
state.
state to you
Yes.
for our county
Yes,
specifically?
correct.
Okay,
That's why we have had, ever since I was a director, and I think we started again, years ago when I first started, we had someone that was here one day a week or half a day a week, And so we started that again before Annie left as director, and I have continued that. We have a presence here, and that's why, because part of that funding comes. So David Womack is here for half a day a week, every week. And now Sarah Wheeler, who is part of our pretrial program, she's here for the pretrial piece. So they both come up here on
Michelle,
Tuesdays.
do they actually earmark the lump sum that you get from KDOC to Ottawa County, Lincoln County?
No,
Or
it
is
just comes to us as the 28th Judicial District. So the 28th Judicial District encompasses those two counties.
Okay.
So, yeah, so we try to look at it as sort of, I guess, as a percentage, but that would be difficult too, because sometimes you might have 3 people on probation and sometimes you might have 6 or 10 or 15, I don't know. There was a time before we stopped pretrial that I think we had 13 people on pretrial from here. So we kind of tried to use that historical data
So
to
is
figure out.
KDOC determines the funding for each of these districts?
We do, across the state, yes.
It's up to you
Yeah.
to use them, stewardship.
Yes, but they also tell us how we can use them and how we can't use them. So
Always a string attached.
there's always a string. Yes, they don't just give us, as you know, they don't just give you, the
Money.
state, the feds, they don't just
Yeah.
give you money without,
Yeah.
rightfully so. It would be,
Well, a little oversight.
yeah, there's some people that could not be trusted with $2 million. So I happen to feel like I can be trusted with $2 million, but
Wow.
not everybody can, so.
You have a tough job. Thank you for
It-
serving the community.
Thank you. It's a fun job. I love my job.
It's a fun job.
It feels easy, but I've done it so long. It's just part
I
of the
think
life.
I'm
Michelle?
better at numbers than I am.
Before
Yeah.
you leave, Michelle,
Yes,
are you old enough, or maybe I shouldn't even ask it in that manner?
I'm 64.
What an interesting.
So I am old enough.
What an interesting way
Yes,
to start a
I'm
question.
64 and I
Do
have
you
10
remember the
grandkids.
Crime Stoppers program? Has
I
that
do.
died across the state, or is
I
it still
think
active?
that DARE and Crime Stoppers are no long. I don't hear about those programs anymore, and that would be more like the sheriff and the
Right.
police department. But we also used to, when I first came to community corrections, do a stop shoplifting class.
Right.
Some of those things have gone by the wayside because of funding,
Mhm.
if you're not funded anymore. And then you always have people who are crunching numbers and running the data and saying what's effective and what's not
Right.
effective.
Yeah.
You know, I have talked before about, we used to have something in KDOC called Labette County Boot Camp. And when I first came, I sent a number of people to boot camp. It was a stop between us and prison. And then they decided that boot camp doesn't work. And I think that that's a mixed review. I recently talked to somebody who I sent to boot camp years ago, and I knew they pulled you out of the van and shaved your head on the tarmac if you were a male. I didn't know they did that to the females when I sent this poor girl there. And when she came back 6 months later, her hair was short, and she'd always had really long hair. And I'm like, "Oh, Debbie, your hair looks so cute, short." And she goes, "Yeah, it's growing out because they shaved my head when I got there." And I was like, but she also told me it's the best thing that ever happened to me. So, not the head shaving part, maybe,
Yeah.
but going to Labette, it teaches them structure and responsibility. And you always loved getting somebody back from Labette because they were always like, "Yes, ma'am," "No, ma'am," "No, sir."
Yeah.
Very,
Wow.
they had made huge changes. Not everybody agrees with me.
I'm just
and
trying
I'm
to
okay
think
with
of
that.
programs that we used to have, maybe that we don't use now,
Yeah.
that would be a deterrent to incarceration or to probation or
Yeah.
whatever, you know.
The criminal justice system, I was taught this years ago by Judge Thompson, is a pendulum. It swings. We go from left to right, and right now I feel like we might be swinging back over to be more strict and more, you know, we
Hopefully.
we don't want people in prison, and then we do. So that's the cycle of many things.
Right.
Criminal
Didn't mean
justice
to throw you a
system.
curve
No, you're
question
fine.
there, but that's,
No, I've been doing this forever, so
just kinda wanted to know
Yeah.
what might work to prevent
Mhm.
this, lighten the load.
yeah. Yeah, there's many things that I think would work, but I raise my kids different than people raise their kids nowadays, so they say that doesn't work. I don't know.
Do you work with our school resource officer?
We do in that when we have stuff happen with juveniles at school, the resource officer calls my staff to let them know what's going on. But that,
Do they participate in any of these trainings or anything?
yes, I'm trying to think. Corey Chambers was the most recent School resource. I don't know who the school resource officers are, but they are required by, they're part of the police department, and the police department has a really robust training requirement, annual training requirement. My agency is required to
Same
get
county
40
that she's
hours
talking about.
of training, and so I know that the police department, the sheriff's office, they require a lot of outside training in addition to their
Yeah, I just
firearms
thought
training
here
and
at
stuff.
Webster, it'd probably be good for
Yeah,
ours
yeah.
to go there.
Oh yes, absolutely. Yeah, we would love to have them.
So,
Yeah, I will have.
You'll reach
Come on
out
in,
to
Kayla.
Sheriff
Sit down.
Gordon
I'll have
about
Brian.
that training?
Yeah, I'll have Brian send an email directly to your resource officer.
Michelle,
Well-
you just touched on something. You said there are things that work. Could you elaborate on that? I don't mean to
For raising my
detain you.
kids.
Programs like DARE
Oh.
or Crime Stoppers.
I haven't.
What work?
Yikes. I don't know
There's
the statistics.
paper towels right there.
I think that what I said was there's things that work with me for raising my children, and my
Oh,
kids
okay.
employ those same tactics for my grandkids.
Right,
But I don't think that everybody
You
would
want that
agree
coffee anyway.
with how that goes.
No.
I think I'm a pretty
Okay, I thought
strict.
maybe through your experience, you had seen programs that worked and didn't work.
No.
Because I'd like to see some more programs instituted
Yeah.
to try and keep incarceration
Yeah.
down, or at least keep people.
What
on
they
it.
have is, that's what they're,
I'm pretty militaristically minded, so I don't know that that's really good for today's climate.
yeah.
So probably a good thing that I've only got about 4 years left. I'll be moving out, so they'll probably be glad. And be like, ooh, that crazy lady's gone.
School board used to be made of pine.
I went to a school like that, so junior high, we had a principal that
Thank
used to
you.
paddle.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good to
Have
see
a
you.
great
Nice
day.
to see
Good to
you
see
again.
you.
Need 5
Stay out of trouble,
Right,
Commissioner
okay.
Mortimer. I don't want you to, I don't want to see your name
I
in
don't-
jail. Let me know if you need bonds.
So you counsel me?
I always have bonds.
Is this
I need
your
those
purse?
for you. Oh, it is. Thank you so much.
Sam,
Thank you, Tammy.
We're gonna move past you again, Carl.
Yeah.
Flint Hills Area Aging, we'll move there. Julie?
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
I hope you all had a wonderful Easter weekend. I'm Julie Govert-Walter, Executive Director of the North Central Flint Hills Area Agency on Aging. And with me today is Daryl Reichenberg. Did I say your name right?
It's Rickenberg.
Rickenberg, okay. Anyway,
It's not pronounced the way it looks, so you're fine.
okay, well, thank you for being here, Daryl. And also Linda Semple, who is with our organization, has been doing a lot of work here in Ottawa County. And what you have before you, and I passed out the most recent version of the memorandum of understanding that you requested that I bring to you. And there were a couple typos that we identified from the last version. I want to thank Tammy for her help. Thank you. Anyway, so this is what we have and what I believe was sent out to you earlier for your review. I want to clarify a couple things. First, this agreement is between our organization and this Minneapolis Senior Center.
I know that.
Yeah, so just to clarify with that. Another question that's come up has been, okay, well, how come we're not talking about health insurance here in this agreement? And that's because.
Well, it didn't come up here, though.
It might have been my question.
Was it?
Okay.
Okay.
Now, I just want to make sure to clarify that the relationship we have with each of our counties is health insurance is one of those required expenses that we must pay to cover Friendship Meals employees who work 30 hours or more a week. And so we ask counties to help us with that because, as I think
Well, do you come and request that at budget time?
Yes, we do. We
You
set-
present what the cost is to the county by these services?
last year,
Send out letters.
last year, we sent you this request for funds, and it included Friendship Meals health insurance support.
Okay,
And
so
so-
it stated that?
Yes, it stated that, as well as we asked for some administrative funding and in-home service. But by far and away, the health insurance funds request is the most significant element of this request. And that, of course, for those employees who work 30 or more hours a week, that means we can provide them health insurance under our health insurance plan. I'd like to tell you that those expenses are decreasing, but they're not. I'd like to tell you that, but we actually have been told we have a higher expense. We're working to mitigate some of that cost to counties, but it just means we don't have any more Older Americans Act, so we have to have another fund to support that. Anyway, I hope that answers any questions that might be out there about that.
If you want to keep that for any reason or not.
Hey Scott, could I get a copy of that?
So did you have that from
Receipt.
your budget packet last year? How'd you have your hands on that so quick?
Right. To the bottom here where I kept the budget stuff.
Oh, okay.
Everybody needs a file drawer like Commissioner.
I'm sitting there going, my budget
Mortimer's.
is in this big
Yeah.
binder. I was like, how'd you get your hands on that so quick? I was jealous. I never get anything like. So I'm kind of disappointed the board isn't here. Kayla, you're not on the board, our Golden Wheel
Well,
Yeah, kinda.
in Delphus.
in Delphus. And,
Nobody.
Sarah, you're not on the board at the Golden Wheel?
No,
Okay, so I'm kind of disappointed they're not here.
Yeah.
Because this is their actual agreement rather than ours.
We did send copies to Doug Plummer.
I am
like
too.
a week or so ago, or?
last week.
Oh, so you would have just gotten it.
And Sarah, we can give you a copy too, I'm sorry.
So we,
cut you off.
you were on the agenda at 9 o'clock, You want me to call them down there?
I mean, you,
Did anybody
Okay.
invite them to the meeting? Did anybody call or did we invite them at all?
did you send them the,
We sent them the copy of this the same time we
You sent it to
you.
Doug?
Mhm.
Did you send it to the Golden Wheel,
Well, we
to
sent it to,
Christie?
yeah,
we sent it to Doug. I just wanna clarify that
did you know?
we,
I mean, do you know if they knew?
No, I don't know.
I wouldn't think, I mean, on our agenda and what time, they probably, unless they looked at our agenda, they wouldn't probably have known to come.
well,
Well, if they've been painted, nothing.
Well, they knew last week that it had been postponed to this week,
2 weeks ago,
or
yeah.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
our relationship would be with the,
We understand that, so
Yeah.
go on.
Yeah.
so, I just,
Yes, I'd really like to know how they feel about it.
Well,
Because
Daryl,
I mean, my comments would be
Uh,
secondary to their comments.
Well, go ahead,
you have a little bit of a lawyer background, I understand.
a little bit,
as
but
you,
I'm retired, but go ahead.
As you
But-
look this over, did you look it over from the side of the North Central Flint Hills Agency, or did you look it over with respect to the interest of the Golden Wheel? Or is it, in your opinion, a pretty middle of the road part, I guess, I'm asking?
I was looking at it to see if it covered the issues that we wanted covered, and I wanted it to be covering those issues for both parties. I mean, yeah, I can see what you're saying, that I'm kind of representing Ottawa County on the board for the area agency, so,
Right.
but, yeah.
so what are your thoughts then?
I think it basically covered the issues that we wanted covered, in a pretty good manner. You know, there may be some things that weren't addressed that we wanted addressed, I'm not sure. That would be up to you folks. I will say, you know, if we want the board members to look at this, we do have, a county council on aging meeting coming up this Thursday that the board members attend, and Linda attends, I attend, a lot of people attend that, so maybe we could all get together at that time if it's not convenient this morning for the board members.
Excellent idea,
Um,
excellent.
So from that perspective.
And you
I'll
do
tell
too, a
what-
lot sometimes too, yeah.
And I'll tell you what my concerns are, is when it states the responsibilities of the Golden Wheel, it's on number 9, it says, the Golden Wheel will take an active role in identifying and recruiting qualified staff. I always felt like that was your primary role and that it was secondary for the center.
well,
It doesn't really state that's your because they're your employer. They have to meet your criteria and you set the wages from your side of it. So I felt like just saying an active role wasn't really clarifying.
and there might be additional clarity, but let me just say something. Finding, in this particular time, when workforce challenges are so real, we definitely, and getting the word out through the regular media, like we used to advertise quite often in newspapers, we keep doing that and have done so for quite a while, and we don't get responses. So it comes down to local folks helping us identify who's available to work. And I'm just,
I definitely agree with that. I guess I just thought, ultimately, they can't hire
we are,
anybody without you.
we
So
are,
I felt like you should be the primary and they should be the secondary.
and it does say in one of the areas in this document that it is agreed, the North Central Flint Hills Area Agency on Aging is the employer of record.
It does say that.
Right, but-
Just because of the vacancy whole things, I think there's been some frustration there. The other thing was on number 10. These are my concerns. Feel
Yeah.
free to discuss it. We'll discuss at the board maybe. Well, that won't be a board meeting. I don't know who's gonna take it to.
They have a board meeting.
They have a board
that
meeting
hap-
in the afternoon.
Yeah, the Golden Wheel does.
This
Okay.
afternoon.
The same
So-
day,
That
Thursday.
afternoon.
So that was my, one of my concerns. The other one was on 10. it says that you have an annual inventory. I don't think they have a list. Are you gonna make that an addendum or?
Let me clarify. Two things. First, this document is in accordance with how our agency would have a relationship with any senior center in our region. There's one, maybe two exceptions, but this is basically what our expectations and what our agreement would be with any senior center within our region. And so I wanna make that clear.
Yeah, like I said, I was waiting for the board to be here to see if that was a concern of theirs. And I guess the last thing that was a concern of mine, and I'll be glad to reach out to the board as well, is I felt in the past that the board did not feel like they were receiving active assistance in helping it with the situation. And in the way this agreement reads, they have to give you 60 days notice. Well, that's 2 months without meals if they don't feel like they're getting a response.
Well, I think we need to, that 60 days is notice. If they do not want to continue the relationship with our organization, they can give us notice and say, hey, we don't want you guys involved anymore. That's what that means.
Yeah, but
In terms of the other factor I want to address is that we have hired another staff person who's going to provide general oversight and be available. So I'm not going to say all of the challenges are going to
you're hopeful.
magically disappear, but we are hopeful.
She
The oth-
attended our last agent council meeting, remember?
Was her name Kay or
Ann.
Ann?
And
And the other thing that we are right now looking into is a more dedicated way for communications when somebody calls our friendship meals, that it would be
A dedicated line.
a dedicate, or, so we're working on that also. I didn't put that in here because we didn't have it all together pinned down, but we are looking at that too, in a
Yeah.
serious way.
And the only other thing I had about this was, it does not say anything about that the Golden Wheel does subsidize it, and that probably needs to be documented somewhere.
Okay.
But again, that's, I guess, like I said,
well, this is a first
right.
shot. I mean,
Yeah.
Right.
we
So
didn't.
those are my 4 concerns. And, so you'll meet, you plan to meet with the Golden Wheel Board?
Are you gonna be at the board meeting
When's the
Thursday?
next
or-
board meeting, Golden?
It's Thursday, and I think Ann's planning on
Okay.
being there.
Okay.
And then.
Well,
And
that
we can
you'll
bring
meet-
this up. I mean,
You'll meet with
There's
the
no
Golden Wheel
reason why
Board
we-
that day? Is that normal procedure?
you on that board?
The Golden Wheel board meeting is usually the same day as
Day.
our aging council meeting. They meet in the
Okay.
afternoon and we meet in the morning, so.
So, those are, I'm nobody in this agreement. I just wanted to know my 4 concerns based on discussions with staff there.
thank
Well,
you.
we may be nobody, but we have to, I mean,
We want them taken
Right.
care of.
I was
Right.
gonna say,
We have to
Carla,
look out for 'em.
Commissioner Carla, I would disagree with what you just said. You are pretty important, each of you are, so thank you.
Yes, so,
well, we just don't want it to ever get back where it was. And I'm not, there's probably a fault on both sides. And so I just don't want it to happen again. If there's any way we can keep it from happening,
yeah.
we
Can
want
I
to.
I'm
say
gonna-
something? This is not the first time that it happened without a cook. We were without a cook and no one applied for the job.
Are you
months
saying
ago.
prior to 25?
Prior
Because we were
to-
here at 25.
Right. Well, we did bring meals in at one other time from Lincoln. We made
Right.
the effort that we,
Yeah, I remember
the
that.
cook, the cook in Lincoln was a seasoned cook. We went to Lincoln, asked her to prepare the meals. We
I remember
sent a
that.
driver up to pick them up and bring them back down to Bennington and to, the Golden Wheel. Well, the time that this has happened with the cook, we had just gotten a new cook in Lincoln and she was in the middle of being trained. So logistically, she was not capable of doing what what we had the seasoned cook do. So that was one of the faults. Now, if we would have still had a seasoned cook there, we would definitely have brought meals back in again from Lincoln. It's just that we did not have that
Well,
going on.
I don't know who, I mean, I don't know whose fault it was, but no,
Yeah,
it really my fault maybe, because from October to January, I didn't know there was a problem. And it blows my mind that I didn't hear that from somebody down there. But anyway, I just don't want that to ever happen again, and whatever we have to do as commissioners or me, I want to be notified somehow, and
Well, one thing that would help, I think, is to have a substitute in place. And we did address that in here, that they should have
Well-
subs lined up to fill in, right?
Right, which is a paid position, which we talked about.
That's right.
But that, so, and in this document, and again, this is their concern, but, for them to be concerned about, but that, it said that, the criteria in there, in accordance with your overall criteria of staffing. And, if I was on their board, would wanna see that criteria to understand where we fall in possibility of having an assistant cook. That's something I would want if I was on that board.
Right, and I think that criteria is in our nutrition policies.
Do you have
Yeah,
time
there
to
is
be
a
on that
difference
board?
between an assistant cook and a sub cook.
Right, an assistant cook is what I'm thinking about, because the substitute cook has to be an on-call cook, but it's a paid position, as I understand, right?
Yes,
It's on-call paid,
a substitute.
and, yeah, so we hope that Sheila has, and they have to be vetted,
Yes,
yeah, so, I think it's moving in the right direction, how about that? I feel like we're moving in the right direction.
Alright,
And-
so how are we gonna get those people involved?
Well, I guess on Thursday, I'll reach out and try to get it with the board, or at least with some of the members of the board, and say, these are my concerns with the agreement, but it's your agreement,
Right,
you need to be happy with it.
so what about Thursday, when is that, they have a meeting?
We have a monthly aging meeting.
Well, yeah, that's
Are you shaking your head no over there?
Go ahead.
That's the county council on aging, that's
Yeah,
all of the
it's not this-
representatives from the different
this
senior
Thursday?
centers. A lot of other people attend that, but then the afternoon is the
Just
board
one.
meeting for the Golden Wheel at 1:00. Our county council meeting is 10:00 in the morning, we usually go till 11:30 or 12.
But that board is who, like Julie said, is who the agreement's with. So that's the meeting where the meat of the discussion really is.
but
I think our council meeting can be super supportive and help talk through things, but that MOU is really with.
The Golden Wheel board, yeah.
Yeah, I think too, the one thing that wasn't noted in here, it talked about that, the friendship meals are, this agreement is with the Golden Wheel, but they do provide meals throughout the county, and I don't think that's stated in here anywhere. That it's not just Minneapolis specific, it's
Right.
because they provide meals for Delphus and,
the agreement is with, primarily it focuses on the staff and the operations
Okay.
at the Golden Wheel, which in terms of going to Bennington and Delphus, I mean, it's part of that.
right, I'm just saying when
a-
it shows under description of the meals program, it does, the Golden Wheel does provide for the rest of the county as well.
Well, up in the purpose, it does say Minneapolis/Ottawa County, but
Right. I was just thinking down here where it says the congregate meals and the home delivered meals for eligible employees, I thought it should say throughout the county, it provides throughout the county.
okay.
That's just a thought.
Yeah, it's a good thought.
Okay,
Yeah.
Well-
Julie, I do have a question before you leave.
Sure.
I know the frustration on part of the board has been the fact that calls have not been returned and they kind of felt like they were on ignore from your organization. Is this new person going to be the one that will be the contact person within your organization for Golden Wheel?
Linda will continue to be that contact person, at least as far as we planned it out right now. However, as I said, we're looking at a more, I'll just say, robust way of communications, because sometimes there's just a lot that comes through, and our responsiveness will be better than it's been in the past.
Okay.
I'll just say that.
Okay, that's
Kayla,
great
do
to
you
know.
have anything you would like to say or ask?
know who to call? I mean, how
Because,
do you know? Because there's different divisions that do different things, obviously. And so it's very difficult to figure out who to call for a specific thing.
if your situation in regard to meals coming from the Minneapolis Senior Center, you need to call the central.
Oh, we have a great
Okay, awesome.
relationship locally.
And then-
That's not a problem. The problem is getting, support, guidance, ideas that are outside of Ottawa County. Because, you know, just for instance, if you're only looking at Lincoln, I mean, Flint Hills AAA is big, right? So, but is your only backup Lincoln? I mean, if Lincoln is, obviously we knew that Lincoln had a new cook. What was the next step? I mean, do you have a network of different senior centers that can do backup?
We
I mean,
have,
we don't have a lot of meals, you know?
right.
It's not.
We do
huge.
have different senior centers, but on any given time frame, we would not know which one is the best. I mean, you wouldn't know necessarily which one is the best to meet the need. And we have been having challenges with workforce in
Correct.
a variety of our centers.
But we may have a better relationship with one of your other counties, not better than Lincoln necessarily, but than you would. You know what I mean? If they're not communicating to you that they're without somebody or they're struggling or whatever, we may know that at a local level because of the communication that happens. Do you see what I'm
I
saying?
think,
I mean, I'm just gonna throw, I've done no research for this except talk to people, okay? But if Lincoln's got a new cook, right, and she's new, and we wouldn't wanna strain her out. Lord knows we've got new cooks, you know, and the first few weeks are really rough. But if you have somebody that's seasoned in Cloud County, you know, and we have that, does the local senior center have the ability to call you and say, hey, we have a good relationship and they've got an established cook. Can we talk about getting a backup for a few weeks until we get somebody hired from a different place besides Lincoln? Because it kind of sounds like the communication stops at that first step.
well, generally, it does, we use Lincoln as an example. We could also get meals, for example, from Junction City or another location. And so it's the decision, once there's been communication about the issue, and we know that when issues arise, we, meaning North Central Flint Hills staff, would make a decision as to who to reach out to next. And yes, we would be very interested in other thoughts and ideas, which would generally come from the folks at the Minneapolis
Correct.
Golden Wheel Center.
Correct.
That's
Yes.
how the
Yes.
communication
Right.
generally flows.
Right.
So,
And as far,
say
yeah,
and Linda?
Logistically,
yes,
sometimes it runs into a problem because you're transporting meals for over an hour,
yes.
which
correct.
hot meals being transported for over an hour
Yeah.
is sometimes a problem. Bringing them in from other sites is possible if it's a frozen meal type thing, but they have to have enough advance notice
Yes,
to be able to order the food. It's not something that if I called Junction City today and said, I need X amount of food to take somewhere else, they probably would not have that food on hand until they ordered it from a truck.
sure.
Because they don't keep food in bulk like that. I did bring frozen meals in from Junction City that luckily they had made extras because of a thing that they were having going on there. But logistically, getting hot meals from Lincoln is the closest. Clay Center's not that close. They have one cook there and she cooks, but she would not have had the food for another week to do that.
So,
What about
so,
Mitchell County?
Mitchell?
We could get,
Yeah, Mitchell, but that's a ways too.
well, for example, Delphus,
Mm-hmm,
so that's where she's from, that's
right,
where I'm from.
right.
So could Delphus get, are you talking about the whole county to get it, or?
We'd have to do it with the county.
Right,
We'd have to do it with the county. We could, unless we decided to do something on our own,
right.
yeah. I mean,
Delphus can get, as far as getting meals you're close enough to Lincoln that it would
We're
not
far-
be a problem to
It's
get
closer to
meals
Clay
from
Center
Lincoln.
from
We're
Delphos.
we'd be closer to Clay Center or closer to Beloit
Closer
Yeah.
to Beloit,
than
probably.
Lincoln. So that's why I'm
Yeah,
saying,
okay.
you know, Flint Hills is a big region, but it's not necessarily, it has to be tied by those county lines if you're
No.
at a different place, correct?
That's correct.
Okay,
However, we would need and want to know
Absolutely.
how.
absolutely.
Sure.
I don't think
Yeah.
it's a problem.
No, it's not that they're gonna go around you,
Yeah.
it's,
Correct.
just wanna know if there's options to go.
Yes.
I
And
just
there
think
are.
there's an option.
Sure. Yeah,
And I'm also looking at a lot of different things that, you know, you mentioned it, Julie, where the communication, because people don't communicate like we used to. You know, it's not everything through the mail, it's not everything through computer, you know, you have different age groups, you have 60-year-olds and you have 80-year-olds. They communicate a lot differently between the two. So, you know, as far as outreach and things like that, that Flint Hills is doing outside of the meals, you know, the activities, the funding, the different options. Is there any type of network that's built in the rural counties that, I mean, obviously Salina's doing things a lot different than somebody in Ottawa County, I mean, but we're close to Salina. Well, you got Mitchell County, it's not close to Salina, you know, Jewel County, those counties are not able to do the same things that we can't just pick up and go to Salina, you know, as easily. So activities directed, you know, things like that, is Flint Hills active in any type of promotions and, you know, do you already have plans, you already have surveys out from those counties that meet the needs of those counties and what those are done? Have you done anything like that?
absolutely,
To analyze it? And is that available then back to the counties,
yes.
that information?
We
And how would
actually
you
are,
get that?
well, we do every year, we do a survey of participants in our meals program.
But is it targeted to only meals? Is that survey only about meals?
That particular one is, but we also do a needs assessment at least, I'd say every 2-3 years, and we identify what the service needs with that needs assessment. And the needs assessment is a scientifically research-oriented needs assessment, and we did one of those in '24, and so we have the results. And I think we put it out, the results in the keynotes, I think, if I remember right.
Okay.
And when we have the Council on Aging,
Yes.
all the different areas are represented there. And they get all the information at that meeting as far as what's going on. They bring things to that meeting for us, what's going on in their community and what they're doing. So that's a meeting that happens every month.
Right, I'm
And-
familiar with
Yeah,
that.
Yeah, and-
Susan Main usually
Susan
represents
does,
stuff.
yeah.
Okay.
That's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
But it's good to know the backup. You're just saying, do we have an established backup plan other than Lincoln, right?
So you're gonna get a hold of the board, right?
Well, I'll talk to them about my 4 questions.
Sure, but you're gonna,
And make sure they contact them
Right.
on that Thursday. Yeah, I'll talk to them. I'll talk to Christie and Sheila.
Christie's not on the board.
I just wanna
I
be-
was gonna say, and Sheila.
Yeah,
I
Doug
just-
and Sheila usually
Yeah,
attend.
Christie is
Yeah.
not a board member, she's an employee.
And there is, I mean, we do our best to keep separation between staff and board members. It's just one of those.
So I should directly deal with Christie?
Yeah.
I mean Sheila?
I
Sheila
think
and
so.
Doug.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's my recommendation.
all right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate your
Thanks.
concern.
Yeah, thanks for providing
this
it, so we can look
conversation.
at it.
Yeah.
And I'll get my concerns to them.
Yeah,
It happens.
Thank you.
Well-
And you can work it, you can work
Thank
it.
you.
step in the right direction. It's good to be
Absolutely.
proactive instead of
Oh,
reactive.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's
Thank
definitely,
you.
That too or not.
I think I've
Thank
got
you.
that.
Yep, thank you.
Thank
Glad-
you.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
thank you. My hands are really cold.
You know what that means?
Yep.
What?
You do
I hope
fine.
so.
Thank you for coming.
Because it's cold in here. I have a jacket and I'm still cold.
Your hands are cool.
No, I got warmed up early this morning.
Thank you, have a good day.
Yep.
I'm gonna leave these with Tammy, but it's our announcement about our sunflower fair,
Oh, for this year?
September 22nd.
You're already jumping there, man.
Wow.
Oh, no, we have to start like in January. It's like, we're talking 600 people.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Your big event, a big event, right? Thank you.
Did you make copy of that?
So,
That is perfect. Oh, yeah, I'll make sure.
can't believe there ain't somebody here.
Yeah.
Just to make double, oh, you know,
And that's why I was trying to get their input first before I said anything.
You want a copy, whose copy is this?
Mine.
That you want a copy, Carla?
Sure, but you know, you can't feed it. You have to put one copy at a time.
Oh, there's only 3 here.
Okay,
You'll bear with
I'm,
me.
yeah.
So what do we need to do about staff? Tell them that we're gonna deal, this may not be a short deal either.
I've got plenty of time if you'd like. to
Carl
take care
doesn't
of
know,
that.
Carl's on a schedule.
Is that true, Carl?
I gotta leave about 20 after 10.
What better do you guys? Are they all out there, Tammy, do you know?
It looks like quite a few of them are.
There's 4 of them.
Well, it's gonna take a while.
I'm being told there's 4 people out there.
Is it gonna take,
Well, they were only 15 minutes on the agenda, is it? Well, what were you anticipating?
It depends on how many questions we have. I mean, I don't wanna give you a time frame because I don't know.
you have to leave when, Carl?
Probably 20 after.
Alright, let's do you think the staff's gonna be a long deal?
I don't think so. I think there's very few staff, and then if you guys give your expectations for the budget, I don't foresee it being more than 15, 20 minutes.
Alright, let's just do that and get, if you guys don't mind.
You want to do the staff?
I don't, do you mind, Carl?
What's that?
They asked if we minded, I said, I don't mind, do you mind?
Do the staff first.
Do the staff first.
Yeah, it's fine. And looks like the one I had at 10:30 may be getting canceled. but I don't know for sure.
That way people
I
can see.
might be
who
the
they
other
are.
one.
Right. I guess we can tell them to come in. Don't be
You
there.
guys can come in.
Sarah,
Jody. Okay, you heard.
Well,
Okay. I even had a Google map of that property down there, so in case we need to know where we're
this is
at.
what bothers me the most. Everybody gets all wound up, stirred up about stuff just like that right there. And that's what Brandon Coppers was up there talking to me about.
Yeah,
6
been
o'clock this morning or whatever. Or not 6, but anyway, and then they don't show up.
Refrigerators for people.
was it his property?
No,
I mean, for
it's a waste of time.
Energy?
Yes.
and last year or 2, then I got paid for it. So,
How you guys doing?
see how long that lasts.
Are we waiting on Sarah or not?
I mean, she's out there.
She's out there talking.
Should she be talking till Christmas Eve? Are we?
It's up to you. When you can't go, when you can't go.
Are you in this meeting?
What
She
part of the
is-
meeting are we
She is
doing?
the meeting.
Department head. Okay, yes.
You're holding things up.
I say, we're still missing Russ and Truett, so.
Well, I'm not gonna wait on them. We got things to do. I wanna start without them.
It's up to you.
I'm Jeff, the county attorney.
Your name is?
Nothing new. I mean, we had a trial here, what, a couple weeks ago? That was a huge one. We had like 90 jurors up here and got another good one at the end of the month, set to go.
By the looks of the district court receipts, you've been busy.
All right, so when one of you speaks, you need to come to the table next time. That's fair warning for you. This time, come over if you would, so people can see who we're talking about.
Talking
to.
about?
About, yeah.
Yep. I've just been doing routine maintenance and trying to keep up with some of the stuff for emergency management until you get hired.
Okay.
Getting HVAC units ready for summer. Preventative maintenance on those. I'm gonna start on generators here before long.
Okay. Seems like there's something I wanted to ask you, but of course it had rained, so we don't know if the roof's.
What's that?
It hasn't rained, so we don't know if the roof's holding up, but I think,
Yeah,
I mean, there were storm splatters up there. Hope they didn't damage it.
yeah, we'll be good.
Have you had to go blow
I do that periodically, yeah, it depends on what's going on.
Okay, well,
If it rains, gotta shove the water to the corners, so.
thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Sarah?
Okay, so Health Department, you guys signed my aid to local grants, a few weeks ago. So we'll know about that in mid to late June, and then that grant will start in July. So thank you for your support on that. We just had staff at Governor's Conference last week, and some of the things that we're gonna be working on, there's some pieces in our, maternal child health grant. There's some data modernization. I'll be part of that work group. And there's a rural transformation grant that will be a regional grant that I'll be part of that.
Wait a second, are these new?
Yeah, so the
Opportunities?
rural transformation grant is a whole lot of money from the federal government down to the states. So the state of Kansas is under kind of a, got a quick step going right now to get that grant completely finished. And we are working with some regional partners on, and Wichita State's facilitating that on a project. I'll let you know when I know more.
So
I did a
there's
support
funding.
letter, and that's,
So there's
yeah.
funding there, and they're trying to figure out how to utilize it?
Absolutely, and
It's
at
from
the
the
state,
federal level.
yeah, at the state level, and it's rural, period. I mean, I know you've got EMS here as well. They're thinking about everything from KDOT transportation to public health to
Is there
hospitals
EMS
to.
opportunity there?
Well, no.
You just threw
It's-
that at me, so.
It's the MIH program, and we can talk about that later. It is a line item, and I actually spoke to the grant administrator for that, and he does not understand it. Go figure. So we've got some time. He and I are going to work on that, so he actually understands what that program is. So I'll be
But
doing a
to go
little
back
extra
to
work
that, if there's a pot of funding, can EMS
No,
utilize it?
at the state level. This is state level.
I know,
funding, all
but
of
from the
this.
state, what can you use
This,
it for?
the only line item on there is the mobile integrated health line item. That's it.
That's it.
To know.
So they have a pot of money from
And-
the feds that can only be used for MIH.
And I don't even know how much that is, and I don't know what the grant looks like.
And you,
And they don't even
have
know
a
what the
3-year
program, I'm
grant.
so sorry I said this. They don't even know what the program is. They don't even understand what MIH is yet, and so that will be my job to explain to them what the heck it is, so that they can then figure out the funding. So yes, there is funding at the state level. How it will trickle down to any of us, even like Jody at the hospital, we do not know yet.
Well,
And they're on a short timeline to get that sorted, so
Okay, so
we'll find
the
it out
thing that-
quickly.
I just, like, big
Yeah.
grants and money from the feds,
Mhm.
it's hard, I mean, if you're not on it, to try to figure out how to utilize it.
Oh, they're
and
not
that should-
asking me.
They're not asking you.
Oh, no, not at
Yeah,
all.
So, you-
So I'm
why are we talking
involved in
about it if they're
one.
not asking you?
I'm involved, yeah, no kidding. I'm involved in one because there's a pilot program that's Saline County's heading that there's potential to work with. And it's about data, and that's something that we want more of. That's not gonna, I mean, it's gonna be not cash for my department, I'll tell you that. It's gonna be developing systems. So it's really, the feds have sent this down at a state level to support their work with rural transformation. Like I said, everything from transportation, that was a surprise to me to find that on there. And we're just now hearing about, one of the sessions was just kind of giving us an introduction to what the state's thoughts are.
Speaking of transportation, picked my granddaughter up across the street here a while back, and there's a van that didn't look like it had a door on it.
Oh, yeah, so they're fixed now. I don't know how to say that. Our fleet is owned by KDOT. I mean, and we have a relationship with them, and so we don't get to pick what our vans are. We don't get to pick who who does the conversion, and it has not been a good fit. So yeah, that one van has been in with that door off for 3 times minimum. And I think they're all back now, but it's those two white vans that are brand new. That fit was not good.
The door falls off?
Yeah.
Side door.
So you have this van and it's got a conversion kit, so it's got the ramp that comes down, so you've got access. And the conversion company they chose says that it's not a good fit for the van. Anyway, everybody's blaming everybody. Yeah, and I'm stuck with two of those, so it is a problem. We still have one older of the gray Dodges that we have still in service, and they've let us, actually it was out of service and they let us bring it back, so it's our backup. And then I'll work with Chris, and we've got the big old bus has been released and that second gray van, and we'll do a purple wave and
Okay,
move those on.
He's gone this week, but get a hold of him, cause
Yeah,
we
no.
need to get
Nope, we're working it.
everything on there and get that moving.
Yep.
Not necessarily just you, I'm talking about everything we have.
Yeah, nope, he's been
So-
great, and he already knows. And actually, we're gonna move some of that stuff out to his yard to kind of free up a little bit of space, but yeah. And I think, and we have a third driver finally, so
Okay.
there you go.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you.
Routine business, nothing too exciting going on in the treasurer's office right now.
What you got your coat on for?
Because it's cold.
I thought it was fairly warm in here.
I think it's cold in here too. Well, you have a new hire,
I do have a new hire.
yeah,
Yep, she's been there about a month now,
cool.
so.
And I appreciate the payroll report,
Oh, you're welcome.
so thank you for that detail.
Yep.
For peace of mind.
You're welcome.
I'll be in this afternoon and spice up your life.
Okay.
Always got something different.
We've just been recording stuff that's presented to us. Nothing too exciting is happening in our department, so.
How's the sales going through the clothing store?
I think we've had a handful of people participate. I'm hoping other department heads will encourage people to utilize it. But they have till the end of the month, I think, the 26th, I think.
End of the month, 26th.
Yeah.
So does everybody know about that here? It's free.
First $30 is
The,
free.
yeah.
Scott,
Clarify that.
Scott with the
$30
big
stipend.
picture.
$30 stipend.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, Tammy?
The clerk side, we're starting budget season, obviously. The biggest holdup on that is wading through legislation. I've been speaking with the representatives, trying to see what's gonna go on with that, waiting to see if we're having vetoes from the governor, and then if they didn't have veto majority when it came through, so seeing what happens until we get too far, but budget calendar's been set. We've met with Scott Lloyd. A few people went to the meeting there. Completed my year 2 of Sanborn. So I have little notes here I'm trying to read here. I will be attending a lot of budget workshops this year, just with all the changes that are going to be happening. We are having an employee benefits meeting just to review our benefits and see how things are going, and just kind of a checkup on that. Election wise, we're just prepping for the primary election. Again, legislation is holding some of that up, just to see where things go and what's vetoed. I did get approved my grant. I asked for $18,220.93. They will cover 90%, which is $16,398. So that's pretty exciting. So I'll get going on that. And then we'll begin what's called our NCOA mailing, which is the National Change of Address. We're going to do another mass mailing this year just to keep our voter rolls clean. As far as HR, we are just working on hiring. We have lots of applications for the jobs that we have put out, so that's really great. And we are working on completing the policy handbook. So
How many applications for the emergency management?
we have a lot. I would say just shy of 30 so far.
Just side what?
Just shy of 30 so far. We'll close it here. We either close it Friday or we'll be closing it this week.
Okay.
So have we totally decided that we cannot share that position with another county?
I don't know, that's something we need
I
to
had
talk about.
discussions with other counties and they highly recommended not to. It's highly recommended, that's not something you share with other
What was it?
We tried that a while back, several years ago.
Really? Which county did we share
We
with?
didn't try to share it. We talked, I mean, we went through this process before of looking into that. And Saline County said, yeah, well, you can pay us to do it. And then I said, okay, so who's gonna do addressing? Well, you'll have to hire somebody to do that. Who's taking care of GIS? We don't do that. You'll have to hire somebody to do that. So the problem lies in is our emergency manager doesn't do the same job that other county emergency managers do. They've got more on their plate. I mean, the emergency
And we'll be
manager
last.
in Saline and the emergency manager in Dickinson County, they do emergency management. They don't do any of the other jobs. They have departments for that, and we don't. So we have a lot more stuff that our emergency manager does that other counties don't. So if you wanna share it with another county, they're gonna do the emergency management side, but not all the other little jobs that you task to that department.
So does our job description include all these differences from every other emergency management department? Director?
It includes what the jobs are required. All of those job descriptions were approved by the supervisors at the time, which would have been the commission.
And the commission.
But I'm just saying, if our job entails,
I honestly haven't read your job description because it's for emergency management, so I couldn't tell you what's in it.
I'll tell you what, I mean, the description would be pretty hard to put everything down there because you just never know what might pop up to do. I mean, just like sharing with somebody, I mean, if we had a fire out here,
If you have a
and-
tornado in Saline
Yeah.
County that comes into Ottawa, well, just like we had back when, whatever county, the big one that took out the lake, and also out in western Kansas with the big, it wiped out the whole city there.
Greensboro.
Greensburg was the day before, and then ours. We didn't even have our KDOT people anymore. I mean, we couldn't get help because they were all there. Now, if you tie it to Saline County and a tornado comes through that hits northern Saline and southern Ottawa County, we're not gonna get an emergency manager in this county.
and we're not gonna get,
It's gotta be Saline.
we're not gonna get our FEMA stuff like it's supposed to. We gotta have one.
Yeah,
I know
I
that,
think so, yeah.
you know,
That would be my update for the.
Okay.
some of the
Yeah.
things that are,
Tammy, I do have a question about the grant. Was that for election or what was that grant for?
Yes, so that's what's called the HAVA grant, the Help America Vote Act, it's election security.
Okay.
I think it's good that you shared that you're updating the voter rolls so that people know that you regularly do that in Ottawa County, so
Yeah.
thank you.
Okay. Well-
I think the next thing is you guys want to discuss your budget expectations with the department.
Well, all I wanna say is, I've been reading some of the stuff that comes from a certain senator, which I don't care for very much, and that's not our senator. But her, objective is to put the squeeze on the counties, and, none of you guys have ever given me any, reason to believe that you were gonna pad your budget too much, but just do the best you can to keep them tight, because I'm afraid not this year, but next year, if this gal gets some of the stuff passed that she wants to get passed, I mean, it could be ugly.
What I would like to see, and you guys can disagree if you want, but, to take your budgets and keep them flat, and then have a priority of, this is what isn't in this that I feel confident, and have a digression to what you would like your budget to be. And the reason I say it that way is if that one legislation passes that's being kicked around, that's at the governor's desk now, we would possibly have to roll back to zero anyway. If potentially, if enough people would petition against an increase in taxation. So with that being, I would rather have you guys tell us how to roll back your budget than us telling you how to roll back your budget. So if you think about,
Yeah.
so if you start with a flat budget, and, are you giving them salary numbers?
They figure their own.
Yeah, they figure their own. I don't give them salary numbers, they figure their own salary numbers.
So,
They
if you
adjust
try,
on the COLA that you want them to use.
so if you sit there and say, okay, this is how to keep my budget flat, with the increase in salaries that you're gonna have, and then step by step to roll out where the budget you would like. And then we'll just have to work with whatever the governor gives us and determine from there. But I thought that was the fairest way for you guys to make the first shot if we have to keep it flat. Do you guys agree, or?
Yeah,
I
agree.
mean, to certain, yeah, I mean,
We're in unknown territory right now, what
This-
Big's gonna hand down to us.
our county being in the position it is, and I mean geographically, is in a bad spot. Because I was reading some of her stuff, and she's talking about all these counties that have this county trade pull factors, you know, for their sales taxes. People pull from other county, you know, a lot of people
Oh,
come,
yeah.
and we're last. I mean, it makes me, you know,
Well, that's one of the discussions. I
that's
was
just
gonna-
because we're where we're at, though. I mean, not nobody, but not very many people come here out of their way to do.
Well, I feel like that's
business,
one of
but-
the major discussions for us regarding EMS, but overall is if a sales tax is a more fair tax than a property tax, and based on our specific county. It might not be true of anybody else, but for ours, and that's kind of a commissioner discussion.
Yeah. We're probably,
The other thing, I think you guys still need to discuss the COLA with the department heads, if you want them to include that into their budget.
Why?
What you decided for that.
I
Or you
think-
would like, what COLA you would like them to work in their budget, not deciding the COLA.
I think, didn't we pass out last week that we wanted a 2% put
2
into the
weeks.
budget?
2.5% is what you said last
I'm
week.
sorry,
You'd like them to
2
do.
weeks ago, didn't we?
Yeah,
talk
but,
about-
but just to communicate with the department heads what you're wanting, since we're talking budget.
Yeah, so,
I received an email that said the CPI was 2.4%, and I think we need to keep up with that, otherwise our people are losing ground. We've got to keep up at least with that, and the wages, the scale will take care of itself, so I would, and if it's true, I haven't researched it, if 2.4% is the CPI, the Consumer Price Index, I'm all about 2.4% for a COLA. If it's 2.3, so
Or
it's
5.
whatever, it's tied to the CPI.
well, so you're telling them as they prepare their budgets to use what?
I'd just say 2.5, because we don't know for sure whether that's right or wrong. I mean, it's not much.
I did Google it and AI said 2.4, but take that for what it's worth.
Right.
And the only other thing is, if you guys have thoughts about a shared position, I know there's some empty positions. I know there's an empty position. True, it's not here, which I'm kind of sad, but true, it has an empty position. And if there's anyone that can share that position, because
You need,
the one
you
that,
looking for somebody, or you need to,
Just evil.
Evil?
Call before you,
Yeah.
before you leave today.
but if there's a position
Pretty professional.
that you can, so there's an open position, I believe, still, is that correct, Tammy? That position is
Well,
considered
I've
open?
been told not to advertise for it, so it's my understanding there's a position in that office, but we have not been, it's been almost a year and they didn't want us to advertise for it, so it is not currently being applied for anyone to take that job.
So, you know, from, true, it's not here, sadly, but, the thought is that if you have someone in your office that can share that position, cause it's more of a seasonal position, but he said it has to be, there's some specific training has to go for it. Cause I said, well, why can't you hire somebody, a part-time person during that season of data entry? And he goes, well, it's not just data entry.
well, they're not doing it right now, so, or they're not having anybody apply, so I don't. If that would ever come up, that's a good idea, but I don't.
The job is not, they do not want the job posted, so it is not available for anyone to fill.
Right.
And it's been over a year, so someone's been doing it within that year.
So I think if it does ever come to that, I think it's a good idea, but I don't
Do
think.
you know where True is?
I don't.
Do you wanna call him and ask him, or you don't care?
I mean, they should have been here.
Okay.
Well,
So what is the decided COLA you'd like people to fill?
2.5.
2.5, okay.
Also, if you guys have ideas on how we can save money,
Yeah, I mean,
Please.
that too, please.
Yeah.
please bring it to us, because you guys know the budget is.
I'm worried about the witch hunt down there in Topeka. Cause, I just don't know how that gal gets
So I think we
so
have
much
to be,
support.
we have to be prepared for a zero budget increase if that should happen.
So I guess my only question is, are you guys considering cutting department budgets if it comes to that? Or are you looking at cutting outside services that are not required? Are you looking at cutting appropriations? Like what,
I don't think
are
we're
you
gonna-
expecting the department heads to make those cuts for you? Or are you guys gonna
Well,
take
we're gonna
that
have to
step
help,
to make
not
cuts
all
to
of it.
I think
outside
you guys should be
departments?
responsible for your departments to present that.
If
for
there, if you
yours.
can help in any
And then
way.
if there's something in an appropriation that you think there's a potential to cut it, we would definitely wanna hear, you know, if we're missing
But
something.
there's a
Well, I'm
lot
just
of,
thinking
there's a lot of
there's-
other ways.
There's certain
And
things
I've
that are
thought of-
required that a
yeah.
county has to do. And then there's a lot of things that we fund as a county that are not required. I just wanna make
We'll
sure
just see what
that
happens
Those
the
are
ones that
there.
are
gonna be
required are being
scrutinized as
taken.
well.
Yep.
Yeah, that's our goal.
Okay.
To look at every line.
And I'm not sure if that legislation that's pending now will pin us down to the R&R that we've had several years back, or will it just be a flat budget that they will require that we had last year? I don't think they know at this point what it
Well-
is, so.
I think,
I look back at last year and we probably shouldn't have went down to mills. Don't give me that. I mean, if that's what it comes to, we probably shouldn't have, but anyway,
If we're stuck, we're stuck.
yeah.
So, as advisement, if we have projects in the works that would potentially be happening in 2027, should we be pulling those projects and just canceling them off, or?
Well, so, I mean, give me an example of what kind of project you're talking about.
We have a website that needs ADA compliance that we're
Well,
looking
that
at
has-
$10,000+
Well,
to
that has
get
to-
into compliance.
That has to be done.
Now, that's statutory, there's
Yeah,
no cutting that,
yeah.
that's an absolute.
Right.
Could we get a grant for that?
We are way too late for a grant for that.
Yeah.
Funding through me.
is it supposed to be done in 2020, by the year in 2027? I know Tammy brought that up. I
Yes,
don't think
it's April of 2027, we have to have it
By-
complete.
Yeah.
That letter that that you guys had in there.
No, it has to be done. We can't
So
be.
you're saying April by 2027?
Yeah, it has to be.
So you're working on it now? Is there funding for it now?
I assume not. I
I'm
mean,
just,
they're
is it,
just,
are you-
that's just a piece of the puzzle that got slammed down on us that we have to comply with now.
Is it just gonna take extra hours from your staff, or is there gonna be other?
This is not something that I can provide for the county. I can go out and research companies for us to pay them to do it, but I am not qualified to do that.
so in your computer budget, you don't know if there's,
In my computer budget, I know there is not enough money sitting in that computer budget currently to fund that project. So
Okay.
we're looking at a easily $20,000 increase just for that project. That doesn't even include whether CIC is gonna be raising their costs. We're gonna take on Sarah's contract with her IT. We're gonna put that in there, cause she used a grant last year to help us out with that. I'm speaking out of turn there, but.
No, it's true.
But I mean, that's gonna be a couple more $1,000s or several thousand.
Well, things like that have to be done. I mean, that's no reason to, I mean, we'll have to
I just
figure out
don't
a way
want
to
you
pay
guys
for
to
it.
be startled when you see the line item on that one,
so
cause
can
then
you,
there's
It's-
no way to keep that one flat.
Well,
Right.
Fiddler cost will go down though, right, because we absorbed that initial cost of getting on board with them.
I took care of that out of my
Thank you.
tech fund,
Yeah,
the first year of
Okay.
Fiddler.
yeah, for the tech.
We absorbed that, I absorbed that cost.
Well, we'll just,
We'll have to communicate and play it
we'll
by
see what
ear.
happens. I mean, I pray for the best.
can you give us a projected analysis of your computer fund so we understand what money is in there and what you see as being, how it's gonna roll out in 2026?
Well, that's what they'll do when they do their budgets and present to you guys.
Well, she's talking 2026 though, right? You say
No,
there's
it's
no money,
27.
you're gonna start rolling it out in you're gonna start investigating 2026, but you're not gonna implement anything till 2027?
A website is gonna take at least 6 months or longer to get up and building.
So you'll be incurring costs in 2026?
I doubt it.
I thought you said we had to be
We're not
compliant
gonna
by
have-
April 2027.
We're not gonna have the money to be compliant this year.
So, this is in the infancy, we don't have any answers to any of those questions. Yes, we have to be compliant by April of 2027, whether it's 2026, that's too early to tell. When we know, we'll be able to tell you guys, we'll have to come to you and say, this is a requirement, and we need to find the money, but until then, we haven't had our first meeting yet. So, there are no answers to those questions currently.
Is 20,000 a pretty accurate estimate, you guess,
No.
Shelby, or do you know?
That was the lowest price that I've got so far. And that was the
There's
one
no reason to
company
even talk
that,
about it till we get it.
Yeah,
yeah, that was the one company that would even give me a
Yeah.
ballpark.
Well, this is statewide, right? So CIC would be working with this with all counties,
No,
right?
those are assumptions, no. We don't have any, again, there are no answers to any of those questions, we haven't even met, we have no answers.
Okay.
I'm sorry, that's just the reality of it, I know you guys wanna know, so do we, but we don't have any of those answers currently.
Okay,
And we can't assume anyone's gonna do anything.
all right.
do y'all
Thank
have
you.
any questions for us, any other guidance or questions?
Can you get me out of this?
Scott would be glad to
Ticket.
answer those questions.
Can we get you out of a ticket? No.
Well, I'm talking to the attorney, not you. Final notice. I found out a lot of people have got them,
I got 2 of them.
so. You said, well,
Oh,
here.
you're the
The
scam that
Yeah.
the sheriff
Scam.
posted?
It says I would run a stop sign and violated some stuff in Johnson County.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Haven't been there yet lately. Going, probably get thrown in jail. All right, well, thank you guys, and, I mean, I never have ever thought that you padded your budgets before, but just do the best you can. And then we'll have to decide what else
And there's a Nebraska
to do if we have a train wreck.
I still think it's better for you guys to
Sending money.
present worst case scenario in case we're pressed to do that.
Right. There's a lot of places other than that, so.
Bear with
All
us
right.
while we will find our way forward. Topeka tells us what to do.
Yeah,
Sad that they're dictating, you know,
it's said that, well,
All
I'll
in
better
that
quit it, I might get harassment charges if I keep talking about it, that lady. Okay, well, thank you guys.
you wanna stay put, Jeff?
Are you staying?
Executive.
Well, then what you leaving for?
Getting out of the picture.
What'd you say?
Well, next we've got Jeff on the line up there.
No.
No?
I think we've passed over these guys, EMS several times.
Okay.
Say do your executive if you need to.
How long?
That way you get
I don't
cleaned
know,
up.
I mean, 10?
I think 10 minutes.
Well, you gotta
So-
leave in 10 minutes.
Well, at this point, it's canceled, so.
I'm sorry that I made you cancel your
Are
appointment.
you gonna be here for a while, Jeff? So do you wanna do EMS and then have Jeff
No,
come
let's
back?
just do it, he's here, and he said his meeting's canceled, so.
So you're gonna have them wait?
I can.
For 10 minutes more, I guess, I'm sorry.
I need to go to the restroom, so go ahead.
So you want a
Okay.
motion? A motion, are you ready to do the executive
Yeah.
session? So I'll move into executive session for attorney-client privilege to include the commissioners, Jeff Ebel and Tammy Cox, to begin at 10:13 and to return at 10:23. You said 20 minutes, 10 minutes, 10:23, to return to the commission room.
I will second it.
And it's moved and seconded to, go into executive session for 10 minutes with attorney and Tammy and the commissioners for 10 minutes for
Attorney-client privilege.
attorney-client privileges. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, aye, aye. Okay,
Give me just a second
no decision made.
I know you like to say that,
Yeah.
so I was waiting. for
Somebody
you.
gotta do it.
Yeah.
Carl leave?
No, he's standing out there.
Smoking a cigarette, huh? No, he doesn't smoke. I don't think.
I've been watching old movies and I've been amazed at the number of people that smoke, you know, on airliners that are smoking.
Back in the day, I
Yeah,
remember
back
when there
in the-
used to be
Come on.
an ashtray.
Yeah.
2 more seats in, Carl.
We'll make you go on camera there.
There you go.
You've got to sit next to me, mister.
All right, well, gentlemen. $64 million answers and questions coming up.
Well, I know you guys had some questions, and some concerns that were brought up, I believe it was about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And we wanted to be here to answer some of those. Unfortunately, we couldn't be here that day, but, so if there's any that you can think of off the top of your head.
Well,
Carl, I'm gonna
go ahead.
let you go first.
Well, I did send you that, what I shared with everybody.
Right.
So that he knew what I shared with all the other counties, and I did send that to Barry as well. So they have what I showed you guys.
Okay. Well, everybody needs more money, and I wish there was, you know, it's really funny to me that they're just not, for people that have the state, the federal government, they got all these pools of money that they give for the stupidest stuff. And I'm not saying I'm not talking about what you just said, Sarah. About that deal, that's not
Well,
stupid.
that's why I was trying to figure out.
No,
if it
but
was
I mean,
available.
there's so much stupid stuff going on there,
There
and they
is
don't
a
even
lot.
think about funding EMS.
There's
and-
pet projects, there's different things, and I just told the guys that, so with that rural transformation.
Come on in, sir. If I gotta be in here, you gotta be in here.
I had the opportunity to visit with the person that's been appointed to oversee that big grant, because,
Referring to rural health transformation.
yes.
But if it doesn't have anything to do with EMS, we don't even talk about it.
Oh, okay.
So that's why we're talking about
There's some
EMS.
pieces in there that, it's whoever has the loudest voice and who I have a specific something that I want funded, that is my fear, is how this is being directed. And it does not have any
We need you to be a
support laid
big
in there.
voice, Sarah.
Well,
This is our answer, right?
She may not be a loud voice, but she's a long one.
maybe that's it, I wear people down.
So anyway, we're not, if
So-
it doesn't have anything to do with EMS, we
It
need
does,
to
in
say-
my mind right now, it does not have anything
Okay.
with sustained funding for
Is it
this.
something you can propose it to be used for?
Well, and we talked about that just a little bit, that needs to come from I never get all the letters
It
right.
has to be brought up through the Kansas Emergency Management,
See, I make you do
EMS
that.
Association, somewhere along those lines. As of right
yeah.
now, even in the healthcare, the rural healthcare transformation, EMS was not even brought to the table,
Yeah.
Anywhere in the country.
So are you gonna have that done, reach out to your statewide people?
I have talked to one of my KIMSA members already, and
Yeah.
I've talked to the president of KIMSA on some of our concerns, which are the same concerns they have because they're in EMS as well.
And also regarding this potential, I know it's a long shot, of federal funds.
Well, there are some people at the state level that are looking into that for us,
Okay,
and to see if there isn't something we can't do. But as we're sitting here right now, we're not included in that ball of money.
Kind of
So-
disappointing, very disappointing, actually.
so,
Well,
There you go.
I have a question about, we've generally kicked around the idea of a 1% sales tax, which will probably generate 450,000 to 500,000. And is that gonna be a drop in the bucket for what you need, or is that gonna get us?
they're not gonna get 450,000. they're gonna get. They're not gonna get, Bennington's not gonna get 450.
No, as a
As a
whole
whole.
of EMS.
Right,
County, that's why you guys divided up.
right. So what
proportionally how-
percentage does Bennington,
31.8.
31%?
Okay, so you guys do the math, is that gonna be enough to infuse stability into your programs, or?
That might be enough for me to make payroll this year, or next year. I know Carla had brought some paperwork in that we'd given her, and our payroll last year was $370,000.
Your payroll last year was $304,000.
With our match was 300, and, because we have to pay Social Security and Medicare too.
I have payroll taxes in there. The sheet that I sent you just last week I worked up, it showed your 2025 actuals and your 2026 budget.
Where did the 370 come on our paperwork then?
Well, I just pulled it off Mary's paperwork.
Okay, so let's go with 304,000.
Well, so anyway,
Our disbursement was 197 for last year.
That's true. So just the overall recap, and you can correct me, either one of you if you want, is that the funding from the county is their primary source, and their secondary source is medical billings. So those, they also have some interest grants and memorial monies that come in, but the two primary sources are the county funding and the patient reimbursement.
And patient reimbursement on that is, you've got to look at that because I may bill $140,000, but with the CSM reimbursement rates, I may only collect 50 or 60,000 of that. And if it's a Medicare, Medicaid patient, I can't go back on them. I have to accept what is given to me.
Last year, your medical reimbursements were $84,000.
And that was for last year.
Which was about half of what
So
you
if it-
billed.
Yeah, I billed almost $140,000 last year, and I ended up with 80.
if it came to 450,000, I mean, that'd be 139.
It's definitely gonna help.
Can I
And
tell you something?
310.5 for you, so what, go ahead.
Well, I guess I keep thinking, you guys realize that you're going from 6 mils to 10.5 essentially? I mean, I just don't see this.
So what are you gonna do if the hospital comes and asks for some too? Then we're really gonna have I mean, I don't know. I understand that it's going up. It all boils right down to the fact that if the people in this community want to have EMS or not. Because it's coming to the point that that's really what it's coming to, yes or no, probably. I mean, not that we're not gonna have anything, but it's not, they
Well,
can't survive any longer.
And there was a study done approximately 10 years ago about combining Minneapolis and Bennington as a countywide service under the commissioners
Right.
in the county. Where that would have to be kind of relooked at. You're still, I mean,
All it's gonna do is
eliminate the outsourcing.
Yeah.
Now, what it does help is let's say it was 209 this year, I believe, for us. And let's 440 roughly for you
Or
guys.
something.
Yeah. So if you went to 6, would that figure out to be almost 670? That would go a long way. But you still have with payroll, with benefits, stuff like that.
drop something there, Carl.
450 to 500,000 with the current money that the county's now giving us would do payroll, as I suggested. Then you're gonna have what we're gonna be able to pull in from, our billables. And as she was saying, virtually, you know, sometimes the grants can be significant at times depending what we get, because in reference to the radio thing, of course that includes the PD, but we had about $95,000 grant for the 800 radios. So that was fairly significant. And then we've had, I'm referring to the Minneapolis side of it, then we've had grants, matching grants more or less for monitors that are running about $50,000 and different things like that. So grants can definitely help. It's not like necessarily a few $1,000 grants. At times there's significant grants added into that, but that's inconsistent. As far as donations and that type of thing, that's very minimal. The city, as y'all have discussed and seen, kicks in. I don't have an exact dollar figure for that. I don't have an answer at this point as to exactly what we're looking at for those kind of dollars out. Just where I'm headed was just the 600 and whatever it is that you guys are doing to the two groups. 658, yeah. Plus, if you add another, you know, 450 to 500,000, you're covering the payroll to what I feel like we need to have to get things where they need to be. So then you're looking at, you know, the expenses of the equipment.
So Carla, I know what your concerns are, and they're mine too, but what would you suggest we do?
Well, I mean, in the past, you know, they rolled from 3 mills to 4 mills to 5 mills to 6. They didn't go jump and go from 3 to 6. They didn't double it. And what you guys are proposing is to go from 6 to 10.5. In my head, it just doesn't make sense.
It's a mind blower, but nothing's been done for EMS significantly
I'll give
for
the example
years. And it has come to the point now, there's no other choice.
Yeah.
I mean, your mind can be blown all you want and everybody else's. The mind-blowing part to me is whether we have an EMS service in Ottawa County or not. I've had citizens come up to me highly concerned whether we're gonna have an EMS service in Ottawa County.
There'll be one way or the other, but if you go get one of those.
Not necessarily.
Well, if you get a rent-a, I'll give you an example. Get a rent-a service. I know exactly what kind of service you're gonna get. None. And nobody's gonna know anybody or where to go, or it's good. I mean, I know people have tried that.
Just go ask the counties that are doing it.
Not a viable option.
And some of the things that they don't tell you about some of the private services that are out there is they bill. And whatever the insurance company gives them is great. They're gonna charge the county or the city, wherever they're at, the difference.
Yeah.
Because they're gonna
I
make
know,
their
I mean,
call.
I don't even think it's an option. In my opinion, I was just gonna give you examples. I do know where that it's happened, and I know people that have looked into it, and it's. So I don't know what to do about it. I know we need to do something, but I don't know if we'll have to put it for a vote. I don't know.
Carla, how did you figure it's going from 6 mills to 10 mills?
Well,
that
if
an
you go
actual-
$450,000, each mill is about $100,000. So if you're saying 450, it's 4.5. It's 4.5
Yeah,
mills.
4.5, okay.
Hmm.
Yeah. But Carl, I have a question, or
Yep.
Tony too, I have a question. If this infusion of money is going to allow you to get up to the point where you will be able to hire people, or is it just gonna be status quo on the wages that you're paying? Cause right now you can't recruit
You're not
people.
paying good wages now. No, this is no offense to either one of you about that. That's not your fault. You just can't. You don't have the money to pay.
Yeah, we're paying the best we can. I can't afford, right now, I can't afford any benefits whatsoever for my people. Everybody that works for me has a spouse or they have a full-time job that affords them their benefits. Because we've looked at it and there's just absolutely no way.
So I guess my question is this gonna allow an increase in wages, you know, for hiring EMT?
Yes, the spreadsheet and it's not accurate, not where it needs to be. But one of the questions, whether it's Carlin in an email that she sent me, and I haven't gone back and looked at that, somebody brought up, do we really need double the full-time people that I had on that spreadsheet? And I would say no. So with the difference of not having double the part-time, I think we can get the wages that aren't reflected in that original ballpark.
But the double
type
the
of thing.
part-time is now to get by.
Right.
Right. That's why you have it now, right?
But the way it is right now, we're gonna have to have 2 full-time crews on at a time. We've, Carl and I have backed each other up, whether they were on a call or we were on a call, about 20 times so far this year.
Can you guys
So
make
far
that
this year?
work so that, can you make it work?
So far this year.
So that one person is doing.
3 months.
Yeah, about, and I would say
4.
it's been
Yeah.
probably right around 20 times.
Yeah, if we're calling the transfers, I'd say, yeah.
Then that's 911s and transfers both. But if we drop transfers, we're dropping $1,000 to $2,000 each time we turn the transfer down.
What's the
Well, that'd be
percentage-
minimum.
What's the
Yeah.
percentage you get collected from? You know, you mentioned you get $1,200 bill, $1,400 bill, but you get 800 or 500. How much of those are not paying full value or of the bill, you know? would take a
Well,
lot, I guess.
That's hard to.
Yeah, without looking at the actual insurance, you know, what type of insurance it is, I can't honestly
Yeah.
answer that. Because, like I said, with Medicare, Medicaid, what we get's what we get, we can't go back.
Yeah.
Private insurance, you know, there's co-pays and that, where, and then you have, some people have dual insurance.
Yeah.
So, this insurance pay this much, this insurance pays this much, so,
Yeah.
that's just not anything I can answer, just,
Lots of questions.
Yeah.
Not much answers. That's
Yeah.
it.
What'd you
Nobody's
have,
fault.
Carlin?
I was just trying to figure out if you guys could coordinate it so that, one department does a transfer and the other one basically covers the county, and do that so that you generate more revenue in a
We're-
source other than taxation.
we've been kinda doing that to a certain point. Carl
what we
will call me up.
can.
Yeah, when we can, he'll call me up and say, hey, I've got a first responder that can respond to a call. Can you cover it with the ambulance? I've got a transfer. Yes. I do the same thing to him. I've got somebody who can first respond, but I'm gonna need the ambulance. Okay? I mean, I believe we have a great working relationship right now. We've worked really hard to get to this point. But I think it's, and this is no offense to the current commission, I think the can's been kicked down the road, that it's just not, it's too little, too late.
Well, there's been a lot of cans kicked down the road through the years, and it's bit us, I mean, in several other areas where we had to pay a lot when we should have been paying a little bit at a time.
Right.
Which is a benefit of you guys' what you call it, your step that's worked into the employees. I mean, that's, stuff like that has needed to happen, and I've been voicing my concern to anybody that listen that this is at least the second time in my lifetime where things got to the point where nobody could hire anybody, not just, I mean, just across the board. And, you know, it had been, wages and everything had been neglected for years, and then it got to the point where nobody could hire anything, and then, oh my God, and now we got this massive jump in wages, whether it's manufacturing where I was at, or whether it's wherever. And guess what? Nothing happened for another decade. They just went status quo, and then all of a sudden, oh my God, we can't hire anybody. We gotta throw a bunch of money at it. At least with the step thing like you guys are doing, I applaud that, at least in its attempt to try and minimize it for the next time around. But
You guys, there is a big distinction here, though, between us implementing the wage study, which are our employees, versus giving an appropriation of $450,000. That's a huge difference.
The bottom line is the same though. The
Well-
employees are still being strangled in the EMS, whether it be by us or the county or the city or whoever we've got to.
And we're the only ones that can help, really, other than the city maybe, some, but
Well,
I don't know, Bennington,
No,
But
we
we-
were, Bennington EMS was city-owned at one time, and they have now, we've gone to, under the fire department,
Okay.
and
The
there's
city
no-
didn't want it anymore.
Yeah, they were actually happy to get rid of us, so. Well,
Yeah,
I know it's a headache.
there's a lot of regulations, and, you know, we're getting ready to go through our relicensing program now, and that's gonna cost us another, probably $400 this year, or this month.
Well, it's not gonna be up to us, it's gonna have to probably go to, I mean, I have to go to a vote.
But you understand that the difference, there is a difference between a county employee and the EMS who is separate from us.
I know that.
My
But-
point was, you guys are, I'm applauding that you're making an attempt, because you guys ran into it a couple years ago with the jail and with the sheriff's department, and even up to a certain extent with your own employees. You had to, in order to hire somebody, you had to give significant raises. You weren't on then, but they had to give significant raises to catch up to even hire anybody. And they were already making more than a lot of my EMTs before that
Right.
additional started.
I am not questioning that your people are underpaid. That is not my concern.
I'm just saying, I'm
I just wanna throw
applauding
that
that
out
you
there.
guys are trying to minimize the next disaster coming down the line that will happen in another, because things are, I don't see as much nowadays nationwide as, and uproar as there was a couple years ago about people not having wages and jobs and this, that, and the next thing. So I'm assuming a lot of the corporations have made their adjustments again, but just like you guys did a couple years ago. But, you know, typically, historically, what I'm saying in my lifetime that I've seen, nobody does anything in between the two disasters. And you guys are at least attempting on the county employee side, which I applaud that. But,
I did pull out that task force that was done in 2010, that the county did. And there were 3 basic solutions. One was to continue with the 2 county service. The other one was to set up a county-wide service, but they felt like that would be more costly because you'd have to set up a centralized location, which they recommended at Limestone and Highway 81. And the third one was using an outside service like AMR. So that was what the 3,
Well, there wouldn't have to be any construction of any service or anything, because, I mean, they could house in Bennington and Minneapolis, but
we,
And in Bennington, I'd have to get approval from the fire board on staying in the station and where we're at. Because as of right now, they're basically letting us stay there for what we pay for the copier and stuff like that. And I know that,
I feel like Tony and I we've been talking, we rode together to Indiana to a conference, and we had some discussions on various things. I mean, everybody's seen this
12
coming.
hours, my God.
Yeah, it was challenging. We both came out of it alive and basically unscratched, but, you know, we had a discussion again
Last
Friday. You know, I feel like we had some pretty open dialogue and we're realistic about what we're facing. As you stated, nobody's gonna be happy with the end solution, or I would say nobody. There'll be plenty that won't be.
Right.
Just like anything else when hard decisions are made. One of the things about the payroll with the two crew system, if we would look at just having one service, so to speak, if it worked out at Bennington that they were willing to,
House.
house, a couple of ambulances are down there still. You know, we're gonna need the amount of people that we're talking about. But ultimately, we're not gonna save a lot because of what we got to catch up with. I mean, there's not gonna be any savings
Right.
initially. Now, on down the line, if you're not having, 2 directors and 2 assistant directors potentially you're gonna save some money on down the line. But we're so far behind right now in wages that there's no, I mean, you can eliminate two of those positions and you're not gonna save any money because you're gonna have to spend so much more money to try and get caught up. But eventually down the line, you know, it might. As he's saying, for the most part, right now, there's no expenses in the building and that type of thing down there. Don't know whether that would continue or not, whether it could be anything worked out, we don't know. I think he's gonna be trying to do some talking and feeling people out down there, but, as far as the, I think y'all understand that it would be pretty silly to go out here and spend $3 million or whatever, a couple of miles away and put up a new facility when there's one here in town.
Right.
That would work. Ultimately, everybody knows that it would be great to have a substation at Bennington. You know, whether we can work that out or not, I don't know. But no matter what it looks like, as I keep saying, whether you continue as quote unquote 2 services or 1 service, we gotta have that amount of employees and the wages that we're talking about. And this is not just for whoever's listening and watching, this is not just an Ottawa County thing, this is a nationwide problem.
I know it is.
And so I just want people in Ottawa County to know that, you know, this is not something you guys have particularly created. It's just what has happened when you have a volunteer service forever and nobody wants to make the transition. It eventually has.
Well, look at me
something's
like
gotta
a
happen,
Melville
so.
there. They were
Well,
one of the up and standing
there's
communities.
Clifton's going, they're
They're all
giving it
closing.
up, and, I mean, there's places in western Kansas that don't have anything, but
There's 1 or 2 counties right now that have no service. They're relying on their other counties to help cover them.
and that doesn't go well with the other counties that already can't
Right.
take care of their own, and now they gotta go take care of another county.
So now you put that added pressure on another county who's a volunteer service as well. And they can't afford to pay, and they're splitting, basically, 2 counties are splitting 1 county in half to help cover. And then you start looking at times, you know, if we were centrally located here, we've still got a 30-minute drive to the Solomon, our line at Dickinson County.
Right.
We have to, I shouldn't say we have to, it's
Be
almost
nice.
imperative to
Well,
have
it
2
is
stations.
a matter of life and death.
Exactly.
And you don't need it.
No.
You don't need it until you need it.
And when you need it, you need it.
Yeah, and it's just like having you know, fire trucks and everything. You don't need it. You don't need a ladder truck until you need it.
Mm-hmm.
I would say one of the things they probably didn't put in that, and I don't have a copy of it, but I suppose there's a 4th option, as I have mentioned. You know, if you went down to 1 crew for the entire county. Yeah, I mean, if it absolutely came down to there's no money, or nobody's appropriating the money, voting the money, whatever. But there will be deep regret for that. I assure you.
I know.
I'm just saying though,
It may
that
not-
to
it
me,
may not be right
the
away, but there
reality
will
of
be.
it is, that is another option.
Yeah.
Much as I hate it, don't like it, and it shouldn't happen. But if you're gonna throw options out there,
Yeah. In reality, how much would it save us if we had the primary Minneapolis location?
well, you're cutting you're cutting your salary, so to speak, in half
By just 1 service,
by going with 1 crew.
1 crew, okay.
But
But
one
if-
crew here, or I mean, would they be split up?
No, I'm talking about 1 crew for the
One-
county.
Okay.
Yeah, 2 people on, 24 hours a day, which if we went to that would be, in my opinion, catastrophic.
Well, you can't. I mean, I don't think you.
There's just absolutely no way.
With no satellite in Bennington.
And why?
Well, wherever we put the station, no satellite anywhere else, and just 2 people on.
Right.
We could try and call for a 2nd out, or try and call for a 3rd out even. But
Yeah, but
if
you-
you don't have anybody around,
Well, number one, if you're only gonna have payroll for 1 crew, you're not gonna have double the
Right.
options of
Yeah.
calling around for help.
Well, as soon as you're
But-
going to Niles, say it was here, and you send an ambulance to Niles, and somebody else is sick in Delphus.
Well, I mean, it doesn't take a lot of thought to understand,
No,
it's just
train
not.
wreck.
But
And we've mutually.
there are counties, and one's not too far away, that my understanding is they basically have one crew.
We've mutually.
And that is a contracted crew.
We've mutualated with Dickinson County when their ambulance was out at actually going into Solomon. So you stop and look at how long it would take to get from Minneapolis to Solomon, and then you look at what it takes to get from Bennington to Solomon. Bennington to Solomon's still a 20, almost 30-minute drive.
Well,
Now, that's only happened a couple times. That's not a monthly, weekly, yearly occurrence. We only help them out when they just have nothing else.
Yeah. If we had one crew, we could count on some mutual aid maybe from.
You could count on mutual aid from nobody.
From nobody.
Everybody else is in the same boat, guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's no extra help in EMS. And one of the points I was gonna bring up, even if we had this money tomorrow, I have no idea how long it'd take to fill the staff.
True.
If we started hiring now, I don't know if we'd have staff in another year.
We put ads out the first of this year.
With the money that could attract them,
Yeah.
even.
I put ads out beginning of this year. I've had 4 phone calls. Two of them actually laughed at me when I said what the starting wage was. One is not an EMT, but wants to go through the class. And the other one is a brand new EMT, and she has not even got her license yet. She's waiting for it to show up in the mail. I mean, she's passed everything. So now I've got to go through the training process, because what you learn in class isn't what we do on the truck.
Yeah.
You know, there's classroom work and real world work.
Part of where I'm headed with this employee situation is we need paramedics.
Don't have any either.
For the most part, we don't. We've got a couple
I've got
on
one,
paper,
I've got
paper.
one that is actually on today, and then one that on occasion, but he's getting ready, he works full-time Salina, getting ready to have a child. So, you know, he's got a lot going on in his life. He can't afford to
But
get a
there's-
shift right now.
But there is a expectation of what people want out of an ambulance service, even in Ottawa County.
So
And
there
for the
need to
most
be-
part, we don't meet it. And they find that out when we get to the scene. My idea is which is pretty typical of any service, is you're gonna have a paramedic on every shift, on each crew. And that's where the rub really will come in. It's hard enough to get an EMT basic, but now when you're starting to try and track down and recruit paramedics, you are really gonna have struggles. The paramedics, the people that go into paramedic school nowadays, which is extremely limited how many they can do at each class, typically are already working for a service, like they might be a B or an A, and they're been required to advance, or they are somebody that has already been recruited by a service. And we used to go down and do, you could go down to career days or whatever you want to call it, and try and say, hey, here's what we got. Well, we quit doing that a long time ago because we didn't have anything to offer them. Well, nowadays, it doesn't do any good to go to a so-called career day because they're all spoken for already. So,
Well, the only thing I can see is if we ever decide we're gonna do something, we have to have meetings, public meetings, and more than just one, and one in Minneapolis, one in Bennington, Delphus, all around, and it's gonna take some time. I mean, there's no way to get it on with all the meetings and a lot of research. I don't know if you guys can put numbers together, or if we need help from somebody else.
We've
or-
been working on some numbers, and one of the things that I want to do is, and Tony's talked about it too, is putting together, Niles keeps getting brought up, and I understand why. But the fact of the matter is, from Minneapolis, it's not much further to Niles than it is to the other 3 corners of the county.
Right.
That we're already servicing. I don't like it. That's what I'm saying. It's not ideal. But, you know, if you're gonna be down to one crew, if that's what somebody decides that that's what's gotta happen, it's what you're looking at anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Republic County only has one station. Concordia only has one station. Well, technically they got Clyde, I guess.
Clyde's not part of Concordia anymore.
Well, no, but they part of Cloud County.
Right.
Part of
Well,
Cloud County.
Concordia is kind of a unique beast anyway.
They're
because it's
fire
not-
based, yeah,
and
yeah.
I,
But what
I-
I'm saying is their EMS runs out of there though. So they go to Glasgow. They were going to Milton Vale when Milton Vale folded, but now Clay County is coming across the line, and
And it's something to think about on the southern cloud portion. They could call us to mutual aid them at US 24 very easily.
Yeah, Carl, you made the statement that when we call mutual aid, there is nobody out there, but then we've gotta go mutual aid to
I
Milton.
mean we can sign mutual aid agreements, but if they don't have anybody to
Yeah.
come,
Yeah. Or do we even have any mutual aid agreements or?
I've got one with Clay County. I've also got one with Dickinson County. The one with Dickinson County was signed years and years and years ago before I ever became director, so. So you say they're coming, who's coming in Meltonville? Clay County. So is there any, I mean, did you have to do anything to be able to do that, or you just do it? No, Clay County met with Cloud County, and the tax dollars for the two townships go to Clay County. And we cover the actual city of Milton Vale and one other township right there. It was not feasible to cover any more than the area that we're covering.
it's just right up the road, so to speak.
Yeah,
That way.
straight down 24 highway. Right. It's actually closer for us to get to there than it is to Longford.
So Clay, it says that it's a one county service,
Yes, but we
one
have
location service.
one location.
Yeah,
And depending on what it is, they may mutual aid us to go to Longford, because it's closer for Bennington to go to Longford than it is to come out of Clay Center and go to Longford.
so it said Republic's a one location service too.
Correct.
And then it says, Lincoln is a one location service.
Don't they have a
Concord-
volunteer?
And
Lincoln is 2 locations.
You got a volunteer
have-
they said
station,
a
I
truck
think.
at Sylvan,
Right.
that's what they said.
But they also have first responders there. So that's still 2 locations.
Well, I talked to the county clerk there, she might have.
I work with the EMS director.
So I initially talked to the county administrator too, but anyway, we can follow up with that. But Concordia's a whole different beast in that there's no county-wide service, but the Concordia has interlocal agreements with all these smaller communities. But also Cloud County is unique in that their townships bill EMS, pay for their EMS. So they go to, the townships levy EMS dollars. So when you look at the Cloud County budget, there's no EMS expense because it's covered either by Concordia or the county, the townships. It's kind of unique.
And they're also fire-based. Well.
Oh, that is true. That at Concordia, you're a firefighter as well as EMT.
EMT, paramedic, AEMT. And that opens up a whole different set of regulations for overtime pay and that, because if you're on part of a fire service, it's 212 hours in a 28-day rotation before overtime's paid.
The only other question I had is, with the MIH, what do you foresee that doing in the future? You've had it.
If I had a crystal ball, we wouldn't be sitting here right now.
I understand that, but I'm just saying, is it a way to, do you see it as a way, as a funding source for EMS?
No, not right at the moment.
In the next 3 years, when the grant ends?
We've got 18 months left on the grant.
Right, and the grant ends in 18 months.
I see it, we're hoping it's self-sustaining then to cover the MIH.
the MIH program is a separate program from the EMS.
Originally, it has helped out EMS programs where they've had, it tends to be, that had been more in the metro areas where they have significant amount more people. MIH was helpful in the metro areas for the ER departments and for the ambulance services in the metro areas because of all the calls and all the people that would go into the ER. They could start going out to the homes and eliminate some of that stuff. Where the rural system, we're just not seeing the volume that is gonna, and let me back up. After being in this and seeing more of it, those metro areas are doing it to help out the hospitals and to help out their own services more than actually making money for their services because it is freeing up. It's just Wichita right now, I don't know what their statistics are, but it's not unusual to be on a waiting list to get an ambulance in Wichita. They prioritize the calls down there. You get into the metro or the bigger areas, there's just not enough services available for the amount of 911 calls that come in. A lot of the 911 calls, whether it's here in Ottawa County or whether it's in a metro area, and I won't say a lot as far as us, but plenty are not necessarily emergent calls. But when they call 911, we have an obligation to go out to it. So in the metro areas, they have found out that if they go out and start circumventing some of these situations, that's probably not the good word for it, but you know, it eliminates 911 calls, it eliminates ER visits from POV patients, and they have found that it is beneficial dollars and cents wise, plus just giving relief to those two organizations alone, that it's well worth their while to have MIH. Around here, it's a fantastic thing for the people, but I'm not seeing where it's gonna, at best, it's gonna sustain itself, let
Do you
alone.
guys overlap with home health care a lot? on
Sometimes.
And we actually have been in discussions with home health. We got a good relation with them. They get frustrated because their insurance only allows them to see people a certain amount of time or whatever.
Can you guys pick that up after that?
Then potentially we can do some services for them afterwards because we will be under a different set of funding. But there's, like I said, I originally, for the last several years, thought maybe this was gonna help rural out from being able to pay for somebody, like maybe bring in a paramedic at bare minimum part-time. But with the costs that are involved, and granted, right now, we're not seeing the funding. Like I said, in another 18 months, I could have a totally different story. But right now, I'm more pessimistic than I ever have been about MIH for rural Kansas. That being said, there are 7 more counties getting ready to start an MIH program. It's a great, MIH programs are fantastic. But once again, you gotta have the funding, whether it's through insurances or wherever.
And
we're-
so, when you said
When it
that,
was launched.
you said that Cloud County went by township on there, did you have any figures on, did you get any figures on how much a township would?
He said $500,000, but I was talking to Mike, I can't remember his last name, Mike with the white hair from Cloud County.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, he,
So I wonder what their mill is.
but he said he can't believe that it's that low. And I don't know how receptive our townships would be to putting a new funding on their townships. I mean, I'm just trying to.
Well, right, that's
We
what I'm
already
thinking.
have that hybrid of our.
So what do you think you get for coming to, so Meltonville, and how many townships? Do you know how much you get?
Two townships.
Clay
I do
does,
know.
yeah.
I have no idea how much they bring in revenue. I was thinking at one time I heard $20,000, plus whatever we get on the runs. But
Not very much.
I don't hold me to that because that's not part of the need to know for me.
Sure.
So-
I'm just curious, because that's not,
Well, then you think about, some of our townships that are sparsely populated, for them to carry it.
Yeah, I was just thinking
You'd
about.
almost have to think it'd be population adjusted or
Yeah, it'd be-
call volume or whatever, something to.
Well, I was thinking about maybe, this is not a plan of mine, about farming some of the, like a township that's in a farm corner to Dickinson County or something, if that would help us any, but I don't think it'd amount to
Well,
much, would it?
the dollar wise, I don't know if it would, cause like you're saying, it's kinda like with the fire departments you guys looked at a couple years ago or whatever it was,
Right.
we're bleeding money out into the surrounding counties for little to no return
Right,
on those situations, and I'm
Yeah.
afraid it would be much the same.
yeah, and it wouldn't be very much.
And I'm not bagging on Niles, they are what they are, they
Right.
have the population they have, but if you look at whatever it would be to fund Dickinson for because we just off the top of our heads, we talked about this Friday, you've had maybe 3 runs down there
We've had 3
this year, which
to
is
the
crazy.
Solomon line, the
Right.
Dickinson Saline County
Saline
line.
County.
We've had 3 calls in that general area this year. Now, if you ask me, when the last time I was down there, I would tell you it was the tornado that came through that went over to Chapman.
Right.
Or skipped all the way over to Chapman. That was the last time we were down there, for a medical emergency. And that was.
But that's the thing with EMS, you never know.
Yeah.
No, you don't.
No.
So what do you think, we should do? Should
And
have them put some
I
numbers?
would like to clarify something on the MIH. We can't give you a dollar figure right now because we're still in the works with the insurance companies on negotiating the actual payments. So,
Well,
Yeah,
Well, I think we ought to have them get some numbers, numbers, and maybe we should start having meetings, have a town hall meeting about it, see what people think.
I think will you communicate with Mary that I would like to do the 24 financials too? She helped me with the 25. If I can put 24 in there to see 24, 25, and 26, that would be helpful.
I can give you as much as I can on 24. I took over in February of 24,
I
so
thought 23 was the year that you didn't have.
I don't have anything for 23. The first
I
2
thought
months,
I thought you had the full year for 24.
the first 2 months of 24, I don't know if I have all the records for those.
Anyway.
Because I didn't take over till February.
Just to kind of plug in the numbers to see what the trend is on this. And I guess the only other thing is, this is what's hard. If they were our employees, we would have all the books. We could say, hey, your medical billing isn't equivalent to such and such county. Why aren't we getting more medical billing? They're an independent group. We don't have that power to have them to affect their billing.
Well, but they're not gonna underbill.
We're at the same rate right now as everybody else.
Yeah.
They're building everything they can, I would assume.
it's,
Within the law.
our billing
They-
company keeps track, cause they do all kinds of different size agencies and that type of thing. And they're up on
This is
whether it's
right.
Medicaid, Medicare, Blue Cross, Blue Shield, whoever it is, what they are
That's their
paying
job.
out.
Yeah.
To get
And
the
they
most-
let us know, hey, you need to bump up
Yeah.
what you're charging.
Right.
And it was probably 2 years ago, the last time I bumped it up, and it was pretty significant what I bumped up 2 years ago. But, again, what they will be the first to say, private insurance or somebody that's doing well and as a self-pay are the ones that's gonna be actually possibly meeting those actual
Right,
billing.
numbers, yeah.
Medicaid, Medicare is not gonna meet it.
You guys, can I look at the big picture for a minute? So think about what's being kicked around at the government, at the Topeka, and keeping our taxes flat. And here, we're even having a discussion going from $650,000 to 1.1 million. The again, I understand you're underpaid, but from an overall taxing standpoint, if we don't get a sales tax, what are you gonna cut? What are you gonna cut in the budget? They tell us to keep it flat. I'm looking at this budget from the I understand you're in a crisis mode, but we as a county, can we find $450,000?
I could come up with some.
You could? $450,000?
Not four, I didn't say 450, but I could probably come up with half that.
Really? What are
Close.
you gonna do?
I'm not telling right now what I'm gonna do.
I'm looking at
Because I haven't had a chance to talk to, anyway.
Well, here's something else to look at. I understand, I'm a taxpayer here too. The last thing I want is my taxes to go up on anything.
Well, we don't even know if we can.
Well,
I mean, that's the other realistic part of it. We have to be realistic that if the government let me finish. If the government comes in and tells us, oh no, you have to roll back to your original numbers, I don't care what your budget is. We can't do that because we have a whole county to run.
Right.
We can, but then 10% can vote and.
Well, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
And the 10% could totally block us from giving anybody money.
Right.
And then we have to just live with the consequences then.
Yeah.
I mean, if I can't afford to be open and I can't afford to pay people, it's done. That's all there is to it. I mean, there's no.
But we and maybe Scott's figured out how to do this, but I'm sitting there thinking, I don't
have any magic wand on all of it, but I have some. I mean, but and it may not work either. I mean, it's just some ideas, but.
I'd kind of like to pursue, at least get some numbers or ideas about the individual township assessments. You know, if it's $500,000, from how many counties do we have? 10, 9?
How many counties?
We have
How many townships, you mean?
Townships,
We have 20 townships.
20 townships.
But,
Yeah, 20, according to the map.
I do wanna point out, we were talking at mills. Mills mean absolutely nothing because they're based on a dollar amount. So half a mil for one township could be $5 and half a mil for another could be 50,000. So when we're discussing things, talking in mills, I don't think is a very helpful tool. I just want to point that out. We keep talking mills, even like the 10.5 mills. We don't know what evaluation's gonna look like yet.
No, mill in Delphi is a lot different than mill here.
Yeah, our mills can be the exact same, but it's more or less tax dollars.
Right.
My point, I guess, is if we could pursue something to make it across the county assessed, or however it might be, to help support EMS, is that as fair as a sales tax? How much would it generate? We have no idea at this point. But
well, that's the other big thing is, from the overall perspective of our county, is sales tax, and you brought this up earlier, Scott, so maybe you have some insight here, but is sales tax truly a more equitable tax than property tax for our county? That's the big picture.
Depends who you talk to.
Yeah.
But I don't know what you were quoting earlier, Scott.
I had one person talk to me about sales tax that's in a position, and he doesn't feel like sales tax is an equitable tax. He thinks it's a tax on the poor.
That's what I was kind of thinking.
I'm not totally signed off on that. Him and I disagree on that to a great extent,
Yeah.
but
I mean, so if we don't have a lot of influx of people into our county to contribute to are we just and if the people that spend every dime they make will be taxed more than the people that don't spend.
If funding, whether you want to say approved by the city of Minneapolis and you guys to continue an EMS service in Ottawa County, it's going to primarily come from the taxpayers of Ottawa County, one way or the other. With a sales tax, you have an opportunity of at least some outside dollars coming in.
Yeah, I guess the other thing.
Property tax, they argue, well, there's investors that own outside of the county that own property in Ottawa County. Okay, I'll give them that, but I don't know how much that, when you're looking at the difference, I don't know.
I think the only thing about a sales tax is it's a more hidden tax. You don't pay it twice a year. The property tax hits you in December and May, where the sales tax hits you evenly throughout the year. So you don't look at it as hard, But
It's easier to get bit by an ant several times than a dog once, so.
So what were you referencing, Scott?
I'm looking.
I'd just like to find a way to spread it out over the whole county, you know.
Oh.
We're gonna go sales tax, I mean, we've got a problem, but I don't have a good answer.
Well, I think the hard thing here is gonna be keeping it as fair as we can possibly keep it for everybody. And like I say, being a taxpayer, I don't want my taxes going up.
First,
But if I have a medical emergency at my house, by God, I want an ambulance there. And I want fire, I want ambulance, and I want sheriff's department.
I'll let you take this home, you can read it.
Yeah. The
So
other
where'd you
question,
get this from?
I would have a question, you know, we've talked about one service, talked about two services.
That's part of,
You guys
that's
know-
what we
I know
pulled.
Carl, you and I have talked about one service.
Pull from other counties.
And
you know what I
Niles
mean?
seems to be the
We're the
one
smallest.
wild
From
card,
Texas.
you
In the
know,
whole
down in that
damn
corner of the
state.
county or tested in that corner of the county. But we're talking about somebody's job here, we go with one, we cut down administrators, you know, that type of thing, you know, or cut salary.
Well, I'd
Well-
offer Carl a job. I'd offer Carl a job.
the part of where I keep going back to, you may eliminate a quote-unquote 2 positions,
Yeah,
but you're gonna be creating positions. And you're gonna
Right.
be creating more equitable salaries to working the same job anywhere else. So overall, I don't see a particular loss by going with one service. That's my personal opinion. It's just like everything else, who's gonna be the director, who's gonna be the assistant director and all that. But setting it up the way it needs to be, you're gonna have supervisors, you're gonna have potentially another level of, so those levels are gonna have an opportunity to have more money than just being a person on the truck, so to speak.
And we realize
You can take that.
having this conversation means that one of us could lose our job. Or 2 of us, or 3 of us. We understand that, but what's the best for the county?
We're
What's the
trying.
best for our citizens? Because, it's not about us or our jobs, it's about what we can do for the county and what we can do for the people of the county.
I just want you to know that I did point that out when we were doing the visioning. I signed up on a visioning statement with the North Central Regional Planning Commission, and they were saying, what is our strength? And I said, our strength is the passion the people serve on our EMS and our fire departments. That is a huge strength for our county.
It
And-
is,
And it's
because
not, you can't put a value on it, it's just a huge strength.
I think we finally have hit a point where we care so much that we're willing to sit here and argue with you on what, well, I wouldn't say argue, but discuss this. Argue amongst ourselves on what we think's the best thing. And then actually put our jobs in a position to be lost, so we can do what's best. I mean,
Well, what, you think I ought to just, well, I know we can't make any decisions whatsoever.
I personally believe that if the citizens are giving the education that they need and what the options are, good and bad, I think they'll make the right choice.
So,
They've made the
I'm
right
not
choice,
being a
they've
smart
made the
aleck.
right, and of course Delphus would probably argue with this, but, you know, schools, whether it's been school systems, whether it's been
up until
a
right now, I
pool.
would have argued with you, but the way things have turned out after all these years, I'm not gonna argue. But honestly, I know what you're saying, but what,
yeah.
who do you think, do you think that the both of you need to come up with that sales pitch, or who do we?
Well, I think
we
we're
ought-
already working on it,
But when we have these meetings, you guys are gonna have to be
yeah, I mean, we're,
in charge. I mean, as far as
we
selling the
work,
thing.
I think if we work together, because that's what this is about, is working together on this. Whether we go down to one service countywide, we stay 2 services, we have a station here, a station there, it doesn't matter. We've gotta be on the same page all the way across.
Yeah, and gotta have
And
some,
That's,
gotta have some pretty hard numbers to give these
Yeah.
people to see
So-
if they would wanna do it. And
Yeah.
we've talked about this for no reason, if they decide no. Well, not for no reason, we have to
I think-
consider something.
I think, one of the things we should, if we make it a special use sales tax, we can make it healthcare related. And it does, and so therefore, it would include possible funding the healthcare as well. I still have a hard time going from a $650,000 contribution to a 1.1 mil, an initial jump. That is not a normal thing for me, so I'm
We're
struggling
not
with
in a
that.
normal situation either.
No,
We're at fire drill mode.
well, or no
Well,
mode.
but
I know what you mean.
No,
I'm
I-
just
it's-
going back to our taxpayers though.
Yeah.
You guys, I understand
Yeah,
that,
that's-
where they are. but
That's
our
what I'm talking about,
taxpayers-
educating the taxpayers.
Yeah,
I don't
It's
disagree
gonna
with
be
you.
there.
Okay, I mean, I don't think you're wrong, but I mean, it's either,
It's either that or
Get off
no
the pot,
service. If we
yeah.
don't ask them how they feel about no service.
I mean, I don't know either.
And our big thing is.
I guess we could figure out, we probably should figure out what it costs, if there's any way to figure out per taxpayer with all this stuff.
Well, what we can probably do is come up with a, I don't wanna say budget, but what we think it would cost to run a single system, a two
Right.
system, and go from there and say, okay, we have this many people in the county. If you break down what we're asking for, it's this much per person.
Right. But it wouldn't be per person, cause we don't, yeah.
Well, we've got
Well, but you know what I'm saying.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
we have 5,800 people in the county roughly, 5,800. So if you just take times $10 a head, you know, just random figure, that's $58,000 that's raising. But it's gonna have to be more than that.
Well, if you,
because
you'd
that's
have to
not
take,
budget.
Yeah, it
you
doesn't,
take
that
the
doesn't even,
1.1 million.
that doesn't
you
even
take
take care of
the 1.1
paramedic.
million and divide it by the 600,000 and you get $184 per person per year that they're paying for ambulance service. That's how you do it.
Okay.
Okay, well, do some work. I mean, I think we're all in agreement that there's no way we can put anything in time for the election, is there? I mean, it just would have to be,
Depends on how much you guys wanna do with community outreach and.
well, I think it needs to be
and how
plenty.
quickly you guys do it, so it's really up to you. I have to have the question approximately 60 days at least, and that is the closest I can get to the election time.
Okay, when is that now?
When?
Yeah.
60 days ahead of time in November, roughly,
August
beginning of
first,
September.
September?
That is absolute least I would be, but more, cause I just
I
think
know,
it's
I
out
know.
45 days before, so
Okay.
that gives me 15
Yeah.
days to program and get.
All right, well,
Okay, so,
But I would check with the county attorney, I don't know the statutory requirements for publications and all of that.
and just throw this out, and I understand to a fair extent what you're talking about timelines, but the fact of the matter is, we gotta have help by.
yesterday.
I do have,
So, you know, I will be requesting more appropriation money.
I will as well.
I do have a
You're gonna have to be the one that
conversation.
says no.
You got,
Just, I'm kidding.
you guys, I'm sorry, but I look at your cash balance and it's $244,000. You're not in crisis mode for 2027. We,
I spent $304,000 in payroll last year. That $244,000 has to keep me going the entire year this year. That's maintenance on the
I'm sorry,
vehicles.
that's why I have to look at the financials. I'm sorry.
You have all my financials. You've got every single one. of
No,
them.
I don't have your 2024 financials. I have your
No.
2025 financials. I have your 2026 budget, and that's what I have.
Did Mary not give you all the paperwork?
Mary gave me the 2025 budget and the 2026, and you gave me the 2026 budget.
Okay, with the paperwork that I gave to you at 2024, that's the same paperwork that you got.
Well, 2024 will be
Right,
less
I
I don't
numbers.
remember seeing 2024. I don't think I've got it with me.
Oh, you don't have it with you? Okay.
No.
I
All
don't,
right,
I'm just giving you the heads up.
I
Merry
do,
Christmas.
I do have a call in to Gilmore and Bell for someone to come in and do a brief overview of how to implement a sales tax. So I do have that in the works. So I just don't like to know.
All right,
you guys understand though that
there's no reason to Actually, I understand, I guess. If I sat there and said, well, you're crazy, then I would not understand.
It's a
I
big
do
jump.
understand. It is, it's, I guess it's, yeah.
Thank you for listening to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Carl, is there any chance the city would increase any of
The
their
reason that.
I have no idea.
that it's,
budget?
I have no idea.
that some numbers don't affect me.
That's the only other source I can think of, that should be on guard.
Well, and as I've said before, for the most part, it's all taxes.
Yeah.
When you buy
Yeah,
I
take it
mean,
out of this pocket, put it
they
right.
deal with the mills and everything else just like you guys.
chemical
Yeah.
and, I mean.
And I don't know if Barry was looking at the other day, but
Oh, I know that.
he was having indigestion, something from the state or the feds or
I
something.
understand that.
I mean, you know, everybody's dealing with the same thing.
Well, it's not gonna be up to us
Yeah.
anyway.
I appreciate what you're
I mean,
doing.
even this year, they
Yeah.
can
You and
come
Tony,
and ask
The
for
private
it.
meeting
No,
that
we
came
can't.
out at the Fed
No, I
level
know.
the other day.
And the flip
Of what?
side of that is, how do we
Yeah,
decide
talk later
to
on
give
Okay,
them
we'll do that,
more
we'll
money?
talk
And
later.
then hold our
You and Tony
department
can
head
kinda
stuff like,
get an
how do
idea
you
of
justify that?
No,
roadmap.
I mean, we have all these pockets that we have to balance.
I know. I know.
And again, I feel like they are an outside service.
No, they're not a required service, no.
No, they're an outside service, they're not a county service. So we need to remember.
All right, what are you sticking your head in and out for, Sarah?
I didn't mean to.
Well, you can't be in and out.
Just listening.
Uh-huh. It's like a chicken hawk. Yes, I'm on.
Then I'll wait to talk.
What do you want?
No, nothing.
Okay. Well, let's pay the bills,
Well, that we can do. I'll move for-
hopefully.
I'll move to pay accounts payable for $490,386.54.
I will second that motion. It's moved and seconded to pay the bills at $490,386.54. Is there any discussion?
I would just like it noted in the minutes that 304,000 of that, well, actually the amount is 304,908.60 is for the Master Tech truck payment, because that's a huge number, so I just want that specified.
Okay. Did you get that, Tammy?
I did, thank you.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. How about the minutes?
Did you, make all the changes, Tammy?
Yeah.
And were you happy with the changes, Dwayne?
I just trust Tammy.
Did he, is there anything that I need to read?
Everything got changed.
I'll make
Okay.
a motion that we approve the minutes for the March 16th and the March 23rd.
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded to approve the minutes for March 16th and March 23rd. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye. And I'll move to approve payroll for $250,543. Was that even?
Normally we just do the month and the year.
Oh, I'm sorry. To approve payroll for, March in 2026.
There you go.
Second.
Moved and seconded to pay to approve the payroll in March. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
There's one more document in here that's in this packet. It's noxious weed that Chris was gonna review, but I still don't agree with all his numbers. Is he not here this week?
No,
Can we hold off on
Yeah.
that till I meet with him?
just put it on your desk or
And this
over there.
HR one, did we have to make to approve, we probably do. I'll make a motion to approve the project programming request for,
I'm sorry, you said HR, there's not an HR doc.
I'm sorry, the high-risk rural roads.
Oh, I'm
I'll
sorry,
take
you
it.
said
HR.
HR, I was like, wait.
I'm sorry.
No, you're
Yes,
fine, I'm sorry.
that's all right. So
The
I'll-
bridge, yeah.
Yeah, I'll move to approve the KDOT project programming request for, high-risk rural roads for the, total grant of $1,185,000 for the bridge.
Yeah, approve it. I said, approve. Second. Yeah.
Moved and seconded to approve the,
High-risk rural road.
rural roads for $1.1 $1,850,000.
$1,185,000.
$1,185,000. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Clerk comments?
Yep, so just a couple of things, just a reminder, this week we do that regional commission meeting in Cobb County, on Wednesday, I believe that's Wednesday the 8th. I did wanna go
At
ahead
6?
and, I'm sorry?
What
At
time?
6, yes, it's 6
When?
o'clock.
Wednesday, what day?
The 8th at 6 p.m.
Wednesday the 8th at 6.
6 o'clock.
So
I
I'll be
woke
in-
up at 3 o'clock in the morning the other night thinking I missed that.
I did wanna, again, I just wanna say that I did get approved for my grants. So it will be a 90% match, so the whole grant was $18,220.93. I do get paid up front for my election grants, and then I'll be reimbursed $16,398.
Do you have money in your capital outlay for that?
I don't know that I'm gonna use my capital outlay, but I do have money that I can use for it.
Oh, okay.
Yep, I do. And then, I did receive information from the KNRC. Let me grab that real quick. The KNRC did wanna invite you guys to a, meeting and discuss updates. The KNRC is the Kansas National Resource Coalition. We are no longer members of, but if you wanted to go and listen, it is April 21st in Hutchinson. So if you're interested, I do have that flyer you can come get from me if you'd like. And then I did get, from the Kansas County Commissioners Association, asking for your dues, your invoice, and I just wanna get, verbal approval to go ahead and pay that. Our KCCA member dues would be $372.46.
You want a motion for that or just a verbal consensus? to
You
approve?
guys just verbally consent, and then you'll actually
Okay with
approve it.
paying that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sound
So,
good.
alright, and that's all I have.
You want me to talk?
Go ahead. Yeah,
Okay.
I can't remember what I was gonna say.
Okay, so, I did do that video call with the North Central Regional Planning Commission visioning. There were 14 participants on, and, from the counties and for the city, Cloud County Community College, Tech School, Roger Marshall's office, and, discussed the strengths and the weaknesses in our communities, and that's when I made that comment about the EMS, our staffing is probably one of our strengths. They presented some things to look into for the Innovation Center grant, and I did reach out to Katie to make sure I understood that make sure we're utilizing those. She kinda said that she has them on websites and feels like the information is out there. I guess I didn't know about it. And then I did go to that Ottawa County Conservation District local work group, and that had representatives from Ottawa, Clay, and Dickinson, and the three major concerns were, woody invasion, soil health, and prescribed burning. And they noted that there'd been an increase in prescribed burning in recent years. The NRCS representative emphasized that technical assistance is free and recommended farmers to utilize that. They said they had $41 million of USDA cost share funding available in Kansas. That's a big number. For cost share. You'd have,
Right, okay.
and then they also emphasized that wells and solar are eligible for cost share programs. in
What was
case
the
of
first one?
Wells
Wells.
and solar are eligible for cost share programs. And then they also talked about the encroachment of old world bluestem and pastures being a problem.
Right.
So that's what I learned from going to that meeting. And then I guess the KDOT meeting, which Dwayne, you were also at the KDOT meeting, and Chris was there. I realized that it's huge, this funding we're getting from KDOT. In 2025, it said that there were only 18 of those high-risk rural road projects, so 105 counties, and there were only 18 projects and 20 off-system bridge projects. And so I think it's amazing that we have a 2026 HRRR project and a 2008 HRR project, as well as a 2007 off-system bridge project. So we are I guess my point is, we are utilizing, or Chris is doing a great job of utilizing
Right.
KDOT funding to offset our road and bridge costs.
We have 2026 and 2027 high-risk rural road grant.
Well, the latest one we just approved, I think it's called a 2028 for the,
Right.
Okay.
One you just signed. No,
the off-system
Last-
road is at 2027.
Right.
That's the last one we
But what
signed.
was?
The off-system bridge.
Okay. I was understanding this year is the south half of Highway 81 from the Bennington corner.
That's true.
To the county, Swing County, and then the other, next year, the 27th.
It's 2 years though. I think it's 2 years out, yeah.
Okay, I'm glad to get that news now, I guess. I was expecting it next year.
Well, here, we
so
can look at it.
that-
I thought it was called a 2026,
Yeah.
2020, yeah,
It-
program year is 2028.
Okay,
So, but in the middle,
Yeah.
we have that off-system bridge in
Right.
there, so it's good that he's got that funding.
right.
And they also shared about that only 13, so they had 27 they had 32 applications and only 13 were funded, and we were one of those. So that's huge. And they also said that high-risk rural roads is 38% of the KDOT funding. So that's a huge chunk of change that we're getting a piece of, right?
Right.
They made a note in that, and maybe you understood it more, you were in the front, maybe you could see the graph better, Dwayne. But it was saying that they said road and bridge maintenance costs had increased, did they say 50% over 6 years? That's what I heard in the back row.
I think that's right, because I couldn't see the graphs,
Oh,
because
you
the
couldn't see
podium
it
speaker
either?
was right in the way.
Oh, okay.
I chose a poor seat.
But yeah,
that wouldn't surprise me.
50% over 6 years,
Well, everything else went up 40, so.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And then, of course, the other big concern is that what the governor does with vetoing. That's always, did you guys get this information and did you respond? I went ahead and reached out to our senator and rep. Okay, so the last thing I have, I should say, I registered to go to that AC meeting in Hutchinson on April 22nd and 23rd. I guess it's been 24th, just so I'm not going. So for the meeting on Wednesday, I went ahead and drafted some things I thought we could possibly discuss with the regional ones, and thought maybe we could go in with an agenda since we're supposed to be hosting it. After preparing this, I decided we probably wanna move EMS to the top. But I thought we could go ahead and say, what is your amount of EMS funding for 2026? Do they use sales tax or property tax dollars to fund it? What sales tax do you have currently have?
That's probably a good idea to move to the top.
Yeah, so I thought that should be our number one. And then asking them if they have any other significant source of revenue other than sales tax and property tax. They might have wind farm revenue.
They all
something.
do, except us.
And I just wanted to confirm whether it was county-owned and how their expenses have trended, just to get an overall discussion on EMS. We can pull any of those you think, or we can just ask them. I thought what we might do is attach a sheet that has each county listed, and they can write in what they want, and we could write in what we want at the other counties. So I thought if we could discuss about EMS, and then I thought maybe we should talk about increase in road maintenance costs after going to that KDOT meeting. And ask them if they're increasing property taxes or reducing miles improved. I think that's a huge question, possibly keeping it flat. And ask them how many, if we send this agenda out before, they'll have this data with them. Like how many miles do you have versus how many we have, how many are county owned versus township maintained, and if anybody else has a hybrid system like Ottawa County does. How do you guys feel about that?
Good.
Yep.
And that's probably should be our number two. And then the shared positions, do you guys wanna talk about that at all, or you guys kinda didn't discuss it? You didn't sound like you guys wanted to do the emergency management direction?
No.
So we could just pull that part?
Yep.
Okay. And then I didn't know if you wanted to discuss this, Scott, but it says, you know, if there's any areas that you found to save money, since you found out about the KCL EPG, I didn't know if we wanted to just throw it out there and say, do you guys have any ideas?
No, that's fine.
And then, I don't know if you wanted to even talk about those wind farm revenues or data centers. Do you want me to pull those out?
I mean, I wouldn't mind, the wind farm deal, you probably ought to pull out, but the data center, I wouldn't.
So the wind farms, I was just gonna ask them, how
Well,
much they are.
I mean, you know very well that Marshall County has them, don't they?
Yes.
And so does Cloud, so does Republic, so does Lincoln.
I just thought it
Not
might be good for us to know what their annual revenues are from wind farms, so that,
Cloud, they get a lot of money.
and then to ask them if they're still seeking wind farm investments. I mean, I think that people worry about the subsidies ending there, so I didn't know if they were still making investments in that area or not.
So it's not a bad idea.
And then the data centers, just to ask them, just general thoughts, but that, you guys are welcome to change that. Or what were you thinking we were gonna discuss? I like to go in with an agenda, can you tell?
I couldn't tell that.
I
That's
think
fine.
data centers might be on hold, well, not necessarily an official hold, but I received some information that oversees problems of procuring the parts to make the data centers, whether it be the electronics or whatever it is, but they're backlogged. And then to top off the moratoriums that we're putting on locally, or I mean, not locally, but in the Midwest here, other counties are putting moratoriums on so they can get more information about data centers. And my guy in Topeka has kind of.
So I wondered about that
Yeah.
too, if we ought to put a moratorium on for, just to ease the
Concern?
concern.
Have you
Right.
heard some concerns?
I have, I mean, I have, I mean, I've had a
People
lot of
sent me
people.
some articles when
Yeah.
I heard we were.
But if we put that on for, you know, 3 years.
Or
I mean,
even for a year, we could put it
yeah.
on for a year, so that people don't buy property for that purpose without us knowing about it, right?
Well, I don't think
that'd be a problem.
No.
Well, we're not, the way our zoning is set up, there's no restriction, so if somebody wanted to sell their property right now, they could. So if we make it a,
It would have to be rezoned out of ag. If they take a pasture and buy it in hopes of selling it to a data center, it would have to go through the rezoning process, setbacks, and all of the rules and regulations.
but we don't have any restrictions on them doing that, so they could go ahead and go through the zoning board and do it.
They'd have to abide by the rules.
Why don't
of
we
the
ask
zoning.
about that?
True it?
This meeting, see what people are thinking.
Okay, so go
Yeah.
ahead and leave them
Yeah.
at the bottom.
Yep.
So rearrange number 1 and 2, EMS for 1 and road maintenance is number 2. And then put those other 2 down there and then just throw that last general question out there.
Yeah.
Do you guys have anything else you wanna talk about?
Evergy and TerraPower is talking to each other now about the, TerraPower is the small modular reactor company.
Okay.
And they are talking at least, and I don't know whether it's gonna be, to me, the way of thinking that we've got would be a small data, and I think overall, any location, a data center with a small modular reactor would be ideal, because they've got to be able to power themselves. They can't put the grid demand on the locals. And
Yeah, that was what,
that's a lot
Trump
of
was-
people that are
Right.
skeptical about this project, and the water usage, which is outdated technology. It does not need a big water usage for the new technology that they're building these reactors out of.
well, they said it has, as long as it's a closed loop system
Mhm.
now.
What about noise?
Noise could be a problem, could be setbacks, and that's something, and I've talked to Truett about this, you know, the regulations, and he said that this thing for the zoning and planning that we have got K-State working on now is going to address this when it comes out. So,
Okay.
I don't think anybody will approach us in 6 months. If they do, we're gonna have to figure out what we want for regulations for noise pollution, for water usage, power usage, all of that stuff will have to come into play.
So on these other counties that have done this, don't they just put a moratorium in general up front about data centers for a year, and they don't go into details?
Sling County did 3.
3
3
years?
years for Sling
Yeah.
County.
Yeah.
I think Sedgwick and Harvey County did for a year at least. And they're just, the topics that they were talking about was the old outdated technology for data centers,
Right.
for reactors, all of that stuff. They were wanting to get more information, and they didn't know, they needed more information to make an informed decision, because we all here are, thanks to Carl, he forwards me an awful lot of stuff from data centers and reactors to stay on top of it. And I think we're well informed. There are other questions. We think we will be well informed until we invite a data center to town, and then we find out after it's built that it's going to be obnoxiously loud. It's going to be an ugly data center. But these people are trying to blend in with the technology, with the landscape. They're trying to be good neighbors, at least the sales pitch.
Yeah, well, if you think we need some type of moratorium for a short period of time, I'm okay with that.
I'd rather not right now. That just kind of sends a red flag, I think, to the people that we're trying to entice to come to town. You know, at this point, we have acknowledged that we're open. If we get the invitation, then we can look at it, you know, and see if it's necessary.
Okay. Is there anything else, did you want to add anything to what I put down here, or change anything based on that, what you just said?
No.
Not really?
It said in March of 26, Sling County implemented a 3-year moratorium on constructions of any new data centers or solar or hydrogen energy facilities in unincorporated areas. So that means,
You'd have a lot of unincorporated areas.
yeah.
And that's something I hadn't considered, is hydrogen energy. You know, there's a lot of other alternatives out there, you know, but we've
Well,
got.
remember they were looking for hydrogen for a while, and we never.
I think we got some hydrogen, but I think it's gonna, from what I've heard, that it's gonna be so expensive to get started that people, not a lot of people stand in line to.
Or big enough pockets to
Right.
get it out. So you guys want me to go ahead and
Yep, that'd be fine.
revise this and make
Yep.
copies and make a little note
Yep.
sheet? Are you okay that I did this, Tammy?
Yeah,
I just did it over the weekend, so.
Yeah, absolutely, you guys just meeting.
Okay, 6 o'clock, fried chicken.
What?
Fried chicken.
How about fried chicken?
Fried chicken up there is what they're having.
Oh.
Ain't that right, Tammy?
Yep, you guys, well, not
Oh,
chicken, fried
we
chicken.
did decide that.
Fried chicken,
Fried chicken.
fried chicken.
Next time I'll vote for chicken fried chicken.
That's all I have.
You done?
That's all I've got, yeah, just, I did, maybe you're familiar with it, Scott, dust control. Have you seen dust control around elevators and in areas implemented?
They had it down here for a while, some.
Was it too expensive, or didn't work, or?
Well, Schooler's done it several years in a row. It must not be too expensive.
Okay.
Did you hear them
I've had
talk-
some friends away from here that have done it in front of their house, like in Gary County. The landowner pays for it off their taxes, and when it comes time to grade it, they just stop right when they get to it. You know.
Done a little bit of research. I'm waiting on information from one of the companies that had stuff on there. They said that normal road maintenance would not affect their product. Now, how that's gonna be happening, I don't know. 'Cause
Well, if you
lay
grade it,
something
if you
down.
grade it off, it's gonna affect
Yeah.
it.
I'm waiting to hear this answer.
But the truth is, I mean, I did some little bit of research on it several years ago, and I thought it was a good deal. There's just Chris knows something about it too.
Okay, I'll pick his brain
Yeah.
next week. Yeah, but that's all I've got is the TerraPower and Evergy talking, and the AI data centers on hold possibly because of parts procurement and dust control. Thinking about that maybe for the folks out on 135th if they were.
Well, that's true. I mean, if they want to pay for it, that's fine.
Yeah.
The thing of it is, I really do believe that there is something. Better have the road in good shape,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't think you can maintain it.
Yeah, I'm anxious to hear back from this company that I filled out the form and asked them about it. Even if we'd lay it down before harvest, you know, or they would lay it down before harvest,
Right.
and then it would control.
It's fruit juice.
Pardon me?
It's fruit juice.
beet juice, yeah.
Beet juice,
Beet
something.
juice and something else.
Yeah.
And the original concept, I think, was mineral oil,
Yeah.
castor oil.
The hard part about that is if you have one person that wants to pay for it and the very next person doesn't, and the next person doesn't.
Well, they don't have, they just do it in front of their house.
I know, but
Yeah.
so you're not gonna grade that road.
Well, you're not gonna grade that 100 yards in front of their driveway.
Yeah, so it just seems like unless the whole thing is you're gonna go up, down, up, down. I'm just thinking of
Yeah.
135th, what you
Yeah,
referenced, I'm
true.
sorry.
And I don't know whether everybody would be in favor of it or not, but it's something that they can talk about anyway. But that's a big complaint.
I know there are people that were interested in it,
Yeah,
but getting it,
yeah, getting it uniformly on there, or whatever, everybody.
I moved to adjourn,
I'll second that.
I wasn't ready.
11:54.
He's like, we're gonna get this done before 11.
Yeah.
Do you want me to make a copy? Chris is gonna be gone all week.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
No, you're fine. Did you guys vote?
Did you say yes?
Yeah.
Did we all say yes? Okay, great. I'm gonna make a copy of this that